A lot going on in the pro wrestling world, man. We're going to dive right into it. Let's go. Pro wrestling shoot! What is good? I am Jesse Carter. Joined with me as always, James Pinard Jr., and you are listening to the Pro Wrestling Shoot or watching it over if you're over on YouTube. What's going on, James?
What's going on, man? Same old, same old. This weather is just beating on us, really. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we're actually in a break right now. We're in a nice break. So we got a week of higher 80s. So that's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sadly, neither one of us won the Powerball, bastard. So
I didn't play, man. I've given up on that thing. You know what I mean? Like I just haven't played, so I haven't cared to even pop into it.
Well,
so.
Congrats to the old geezer that won it or whoever. That's usually the case.
Right. Yeah. yeah. So have you been watching some wrestling, dude? I watched all of last week's wrestling. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. I did not catch Monday Night Raw yesterday, but what I watched of last week, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good Raw. And I thought it was a good SmackDown too. Good Collision, good Dynamite, good wrestling all around, man.
Yeah, everything's solid. If I don't have the time, I just skim through the highlights and go back and see what I'm interested in. But most part, though, everything seemed positive from everybody. No complaining much.
No, it wasn't bad.
Probably been a long time since all 5 shows, 5-6 shows in general were actually pretty decent. So
yeah, everything was good. We even had an ROH pay-per-view that was pretty good from what I'm hearing. I actually did not watch ROH. Didn't buy the pay-per-view, man. I don't watch the shows, so I didn't know what was going on the pay-per-view. I heard it was booked last minute, so. So we got some topics that I want to dive in today, man. Obviously, you've seen the cover of today's podcast. It is LA Knight, man. LA Knight is just kind of got a fire lit under him, right? Like the fans are, he's over, man. He's over. There's no doubt about it. This guy is over in WWE.
Yeah, hopefully, let's see what they do with him. He's kind of, on the same steps as other superstars that have been over, not organically, if you could say. He's over with his mic talking, his chant with the yeah. Zack Ryder was the same way. Rusev was the same way. So he's not the first. And you know how fans react to it. You got to push him to the moon, brother.
Yeah, we're going to dive into that, man. I want to it's kind of weird how wrestling has become nowadays. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, there was no pushing anybody to the moon just because the fans said so. I think Bryan Danielson was probably one of the first ones to break out from that.
Yeah, that one was probably more memorable. The fact that they were very against it. The company has said it numerous times. He got fired for them the first time for was it choking Justin Roberts? And then the Yes Takeover handled it, and then he gets memed every time. Hey, there's a triple threat. Daniel Bryan's in there, so he's notorious, and not many times the company falls for it.
Yeah, dude, it's that whole choking Justin Roberts thing out, man. I actually completely forgot about that until you just mentioned it. But good memories. Bryan Danielson eventually became a stable for the WWE, so that's good, man. Let's shout out the chat real quick, man. Isaiah Hill, welcome back. It's good to see you, man.
What's going on, Isaiah?
Positively E, what's going on, brother? Steve Kelly back in the house. He says, "Hey yo," and he says, "I'm back. And better than ever."
No, don't let Conrad know.
Steve Kelly was recently in the hospital for a little while, so it's good to see you back. It's good to
hope you're doing better, Steve.
Good to hear that you're feeling better, man. I'm glad to have you here on the Pro Wrestling Shoot. Everything Pro Wrestling, what's going on, Conrad? I was supposed to have your partner over here, man. I sent him a DM. He didn't want to show up. I wanted to make my point. So yesterday in on the Clash of the Podcast, I was kind of typing while I was at work, and I was putting comments in, man. They're not big fans of WWE. Conrad, I can definitely see why. He's just kind of burnt out on what has happened over the years with WWE, but some of the stuff, man, that is said, and it's not just over there on Clash of the Podcast. It's like all around the board just doesn't make sense to me from both a professional, creative, and business standpoint. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things. We're gonna kind of dive into it with LA Knight a little bit. So, Steve Kelly also says it was awesome last week. What was awesome wrestling. Isaiah Hill says, I only watch bits and pieces of WWE and AEW. And then what are you watching, man? What kind of pro wrestling you watching nowadays? Let me know. So, yeah, it's just, it's just one of those things, dude. It's just one of those things. Steve Kelly also says Brian Pillman Jr. is heading to WWE. I heard that he is testing the waters over there in the Performance Center, so I'm not sure. He also says LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get it, man. Everything pro wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Positively E says, I think Eddie and Benoit won at WrestleMania 20 because of the fans. I think so, too. Yeah, I think you're right. That might have been like the start of it. But then again, they looked a little bigger, and they were at the, I don't know, they had that look that WWE was going for. They just weren't tall enough, I guess. So it was a little different than the Bryan Danielson situation, I would say. What do you think, James?
Yeah, it's a whole different ballpark. I mean, that was emotional ending for everyone. Them hugging at the end of WrestleMania. But I mean, the fans did have an influence. But nowadays, it's a little more input from fans. You got social media.
It's a lot more.
It's a lot more. I would say the next one that I would say maybe because it was someone's death. I would say Ray was probably in the mix at the time. I know because of Eddie passing, they wanted to put it on him. I was I was much younger, and I was rooting for Ray to win the world title.
Do you think that if Eddie hadn't passed on us, do you think that Ray would have ever gotten that WWE title run?
Oh, that's a good question, because I know when he won it, it kind of set a standard like, hey, this isn't about, big, strong, beefy man winning the world title. It was always, Vince McMahon's way of, you had the Kurt Angles, you had your Brock Lesnar's. Yeah. Ray kind of changed a complex to it later down the road. We had smaller champions. I know we had CM Punk. We had just smaller people winning it. We had Kofi Kingston eventually winning the title, Daniel Bryan. So, I mean, it did change the landscape of the wrestling. And, the whole thing to everyone back then was you got to be that class. You can't be a cruiserweight winning the world title. It doesn't make any sense. Now it's kind of changing. Is it good or bad? It's kind of a mix of both here and there. It depends. It just kind of depends of how can they carry themselves as that champion. Do you deserve the rights? So I mean, but it has put a big foot on who can win the world title. It was always just nostalgia of you got to be big, you got to have the muscles, you got to be beefed up. That's what it was. So he changed it big time. I think he might have. I think at the time Ray was pretty over at the time. I think it was can't remember when he won it, 07, I think, or 8. And I think he was probably proclaimed to eventually win the title. I personally think so, even before Eddie.
Yeah, so the thing about Ray is, too, that because a lot of people say that, he wouldn't have won that title had it not been for the death of Eddie Guerrero. I personally think that he would have, just for the fact that Vince also likes that underdog story. He also likes that David and Goliath story. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Rey Mysterio was the best person to tell that out of anybody that he's had in the WWE. So,
and pop for him winning was huge over Kurt Angle. I think it was, was it a triple threat? I don't remember if it was a triple threat. Yeah.
So the lead up to that was one of the first Raws that I actually went to live. Or actually, it was SmackDown. Sorry, SmackDown. Okay. He was on. They were both on the SmackDown brand. Dude, the segments leading up to that were hilarious. With Kurt Angle, he was calling him the dwarf and all sorts of. I remember those segments to this day, man. It was so funny. Like, what are we gonna compete in? Dwarf tossing? he like smacks the coach. Like he smacks his side. Like, come on, man, that was funny.
Those were the good classics.
Like, it was just a good It was a good night of pro wrestling, man. It brings back a
Yeah.
lot of good memories from that era, just because that was one of the eras that I got to share with my late brother. So it was phenomenal, man. It was a lot of fun going to see wrestling back in the early 2000s. That's for sure. That was my favorite era of wrestling. A lot of people like to aim to the Attitude Era, man. I really dug the Ruthless Aggression era. That was just something that I enjoyed. I liked the look of it better. I like the feel of it better. I feel like the wrestling was just getting better at that time. Because if you go back and watch the wrestling back in the Attitude Era, man, there wasn't really much to it. You're not seeing too much.
It was more the storytelling and then just, the soap opera drama and with the story. That was pretty much
It was
what
a
got
lot of
hooked
Jerry Springer stuff.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it is what it is, but I enjoyed it. Conrad, I did get your message in the group chat right now. You can go ahead and put that in the comments, man. I ain't I ain't worried about it. Let me see here. Let's see what else. Everything Pro Wrestling says company choice and people's choice. That's true. Yeah, there is always the company's choice and people's choice. But here's the thing, too, man. From a company standpoint, and this is, I'm not going to make excuses for the WWE crapping on the fans as much as they have. But I think that company knows better when it comes down to what's going to draw money, what is going to be the better outcome, and so forth. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's not always about, like I said, you can't just cheer for one person and get him so over to the point that we're going to drop all of our plans now just to put this guy in the main event. Because here's the thing, just because he's over and he's not in the main event, it doesn't make it a bad thing. It does not make it a bad thing. He doesn't need a title. There's only 2 titles to be held on each brand. There's the
Right.
heavyweight title, and there's the U.S. or the world title, and then there's the Intercontinental. There's 2 titles that mean anything, unless you want to put these guys in a tag team. But that never goes well. And so, I don't know. It is what it is.
It's a long. We'll get into that. It's a long effect of just fans' nostalgia of, he's over nostalgically over YouTube or online just saying something, and everyone just wants them go all the way up. Well, I mean, we've heard of certain things. You want to hurry up with things, and then what? Are you guys gonna get bored of them? How is the let's let it drain some time, give it some time to go by. Let's see if you guys are still pushing for it, and then maybe they'll switch your decision. That's how it worked with Dan and Bryan. It worked with Kofi Kingston. I understand being frustrated from this company because they have made some major mistakes in the past. Jinder Mahal was one but they did that for a freaking Indian tour, which we're not going to mention. It's not the right decision, but sometimes, like Conrad said, there's a people's champion and then there's a company's champion.
That was one decision for me to where I was like, really, like when Jinder Mahal was made the champion, the only thing that made sense was just because they were going to India and they were doing the tour in India. But
he held it for what, 6-7 months?
He held it for a very long time. What confused me the most is this guy came from literally the gutter of the ranks to then winning the title.
He literally won a gauntlet or something like that, and then out of the blue, beating Randy Orton. He beat Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm thinking, okay, I understand you have an Indian tour around the corner, but good God, I don't know whose decision that was. I don't know.
It was Vince.
Merchandise.
It
was made,
real,
but
man.
It's like, look, I understand there's certain tools of being champion. Like, well, let's see how your merchandise numbers are. Let's see how the fan reaction is. Let's see, we got a tour. You're going to be the big one because we don't have many Indian wrestlers in the company. This guy, somehow they checked in and said, yeah, let's book him there to be champion. And then thankfully they made the decision of AJ Styles beating him. But still, that was, probably one of the worst. There's been other ones that have been terrible, but his was one of them.
Yeah, 100%, man. I look, I'm on board with that. I was just, it was between him. Like, so the difference is when JBL won the undisputed title, right? So when JBL won the WWE title, I was like, what is this? Like, this guy was just in a tag team, you know what I mean? Could not stand the fact that he was the champion, but he ended up having some really banger matches with people like Eddie Guerrero and stuff and to where I was like, okay, I get it now. You know what I mean?
When you said
But
JBL, the next one that comes to mind to me was when Sheamus won it. I was like shocked that Sheamus won the title against Cena, and then he
yeah,
started picking ovation. Fans kind of got behind him, and it takes time. It really takes time. JBL was this heel persona, this cowboy New Yorker, and he held it for a good while, but he was entertaining. He did the job, and at the end of the day, he put someone over. Of course, John Cena, of course, and it just takes time.
I agree, man. Positively E says the PC will be good for Brian Pillman Jr. I think so too, man. I'm a little bummed to see him go from AEW because I was one of those guys that look. I'm an '80s wrestling fan. I like the look of Brian Pillman Jr. I liked what he was doing in AEW there for a short moment. So I thought that he had potential, but there's a lot of guys in AEW that I thought had potential. Now we just don't see him on TV anymore. It's really
he
weird.
he was just lost in the shuffle. After MJF feuding, he was lost in the shuffle. He was doing tag teams and getting squashed every week until the House of Black storyline with Julia Hart, and then that's it. He wasn't really seen as much. So
yeah, it's
You'll have to finish the story, Cody.
Speaking of Cody, man, he's got that documentary coming up I'm really excited about. He just did an amazing interview with Chris Van Fleet. Go and check that out. Dude, that guy is killing it, man.
Yeah.
Chris Van Fleet is killing it. Like, I love that guy's interviews. He's I would watch him over any...
He says what he...
What was that?
He says what he needs to be. I said he says what needs to be said. That he's not shy about it, and they're always, cool, calm, collected.
Yeah, him, so. I really love. I think that he's got to be the best interviewer in the game. I would, if I had to tip my hat to somebody, it would be him. Like, I think that his interviews are just really fun.
Yeah,
I enjoy him. I enjoy his attitude. I enjoy his positivity.
And he doesn't take it too serious. The one that will still always get me popping is I think when MJF was trying to offer him like some food, and he's like, "No, you're not getting any."
Yeah, he's had some great ones, man, over the time. Let me see here. Positively E also says, yeah, we know the look Vince likes. I'm not going to say the emoji right there. Let me see here. Isaiah Hill says, to be honest, I've been watching old WWE matches from the late 2000s. Not probably Eddie will be WWE champ if he didn't die. Well, that's what he was. Okay, so he's saying that I think Eddie would have kept it for a little bit longer, but I don't know.
I think he was if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard that they were going to push him to the top after he fought Kennedy, and then he suddenly passed. And then I think they were going to do the same mix with Eddie and Ray again for the title. Everything
Pro Wrestling said Ray would have gotten it. He's too talented. I stand by Conrad right there. That's facts, man. Rey Mysterio was so captivating in WCW, and then when he came to WWE, it elevated his character to a whole nother level, man. I got to see his original entrance where he used to shoot up the Cody Vader. So I love that one, man. Positively, he says I think the whole push was because Eddie and nobody feeling Kerwin. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Steve Kelly says,
don't tell Chavo that.
Right, yeah. Steve Kelly says Ray is a great wrestler in his own right. Number one, he's one of my favorite wrestlers. He says Tokyo de Menace. Welcome to the chat, man. He says it was Kurt Angle versus Ray versus Randy Orton. That's right.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was a three-way.
Yep, facts. I remember that.
Good old Danny Bryan treatment.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, Kurt put him over in a lot of singles matches though too. So, give it up to Kurt.
So and Orton did have some help there too with him. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Positively E says the smell of it. The taste of it. He says no. I'll be respectful. I think he's answering because I told him he could put that. He sent a screenshot of the comment he was gonna put in our group chat right there. I told him just go ahead and do it. It's good. Everything Pro Wrestling says Cena company choice, Punk people's choice. Well, I don't know though, dude. Cena was so over when he was doing that whole rap gimmick. That was definitely a people's choice type thing until he changed it and did the whole, never give up gimmick. The people were real, dude. That guy was over. He was just as over, if not more over, than what LA Knight is right now, as the rapper Cena.
Yeah,
I would say.
the company
Probably
man
more
years
over.
down the road. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mister
yeah, of course.
Make a wish.
Yeah. Dude, I respect John Cena, man. Like, I'm not going to talk bad about that guy. I love what he's doing in the movies. He's hilarious. I don't know if you've seen that new Fast and the Furious movie, man, but like, I'm not a fan of the Fast and Furious series.
I
There's just
stopped.
there's too
I
much
s-
going on there for me to care anymore. But my wife does like it, and then I do watch them. And was it
yeah,
Jason Momoa? Is that his name? Momoa.
yeah.
So Jason and John were freaking. They made this movie, dude. They were
Yeah,
hilarious. Both of them
I
were
stopped.
hilarious in this.
I stopped watching Fast and Furious as soon as Paul Walker passed. I was like, all right, that's it. There's too many. After they made that mockery of a submarine one, I was like, yeah, I think it's done. We need to end it. Sorry,
Yeah.
Rock.
So here's a great example of People's Choice, Company Choice. Everything Pro Wrestling says Bret Hart, People's Choice, HBK, Company Choice. Here's the thing, though. The fans turned on Bret Hart, and they started loving HBK, even when he was a dirty degenerate. So what does that say? Does that say that the company was right in doing this because they knew who the star was when it came down to it? Even though the fans they don't want him now. Trust me, you're gonna want him later because we know what this guy is capable of. So it goes to show you that they do make right choices. Look at The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin, People's Choice, I would say. The Rock, Company Choice. The Rock, biggest star in professional wrestling history, arguably.
Or the one that killed WCW. What was it? Mankind winning the title.
Yeah. Well, Mick Foley's always been kind of universally loved.
Well,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's good, man. Matthew Lopez, he says, "Good evening, all. What's going on, Matthew?" Everything Pro Wrestling says, "Unforgivable choices, James." Everything Pro Wrestling also says, "Here's my deal. They don't respect the brand split, so what's stopping them from booking stuff any kind of way?" Well, I mean, I haven't seen LA Knight on Monday Night Raw. Have you?
The last time I remember he was on Raw. Oh, when they were hyping up Money in the Bank, and he was talking to the other competitors. That was the last time I remember he was on Raw.
Okay, and that was going into a joint
Money in the
pay-per-view,
Bank,
correct?
yeah, Money in the Bank.
So, yeah,
and the
members from both rosters
yeah.
were on there.
And I think the 25th anniversary. That was the last. I believe that was the last time when he.
So those are like special, appearances.
Yeah,
I don't really
that's
mind
about
that.
it. He's been more SmackDown, and look, I get the grievance of it. I've seen it on TikTok numerous times where fans were very over on him, and he was losing for like consecutive weeks, probably like a whole month and a half. He kept losing until he got a win. We're like, oh, we might see a new leaf changing here. And then that's when his t-shirt sales were up the roof. He was like number 4 up there with the likes of Roman, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the NWO, and LWO. So, and there was some changes, and the company knows he is popular.
Yeah. So I think those he was in the top 5. He was number 5 out of that top 5.
Yeah,
if I do believe. Yeah,
somewhere around there.
It was like Roman, Cody,
Austin was up there.
Austin,
NWO,
and then LA Knight.
LA Knight, yeah.
So I know a lot of podcasts nowadays don't like to talk business because they like to my personal opinion is like you don't like to talk to business because you don't like to see the business not being done in the company that you like. That's my AEW is doing, they're doing great. Their numbers are slowly going up, but the business that they're doing is terrible because we're about to have
don't you know
2.5
million viewers?
Yeah, so I mean,
I don't know where the hell 2.5 viewers came from, but yeah, all right, TBS.
They inflated it like WWE does with their WrestleMania numbers, but we're not going to talk about that. Wait a minute. And Matthew Lopez says, Jinder being champion was shocking choice, but damn, to sacrifice Nakamura for what? Yeah, I don't know why we're sacrificing Nakamura so much. Look, here's the thing, too, though. Nakamura, once again, over guy. He's done great as a mid-card wrestler, I would say. Would you really want to put... This is the same thing that I said with Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston, when you were pushing him for the title against Randy Orton, should have been the champion then. Now, when they gave it to him, it was like too little too late. Like, you're going to give this guy the the torch and run with it just because?
That's probably the one time with Kofi Kingston. So Daniel Bryan was doing the Planet Champion, and it was Elimination Chamber, and they still could not figure the time who's going to face Bryan. They didn't have nobody. They thought they were going to be in the legend. The fans just boosted up Kofi. And out of the blue, dude, he's like, all right, I guess we'll do it with this guy, which I was shocked to. I was shocked that he won the title. I'm not going to go in details. I wasn't a fan of it. I still think he should have went solo, to be honest, and he should have been more serious because the company.
Look, I'm happy that they gave Kofi the championship, but I was also really happy that they took it off of him really quick because this is not like one of those guys that's going to give you those captivating moments in I don't know, in promo work and anything like that.
Too. Yeah, the way they did it, where he lost the gauntlet match, then let's give it to your boys to do a tag team gauntlet. Oh, we won it for you. Well, they should have done it like, hey, we won it for you. You should have turned their back on him, but it is what it is. I mean, he just seemed more goofy with it. I mean, I know Cena is always goofy, but he has that serious mentality. I respect Kofi. He's been in the business for many years. It just didn't seem like, to me, serious to me. That's what I thought. I thought this guy's your champion. Hell, even Jinder wasn't goofing around and throwing crap around and, with cereal and pancakes and all the other goofy crap. He wasn't, obviously, he was not a good choice.
Well, now, come on. We've had goofy champions before.
We did, but.
You know what I mean? So it's not, we've had some funny ha-ha moments with champions. So I'm not going to say that that's the reason why I didn't like Kofi as champion. I'm saying that he wasn't a believable contender to be in that spot to begin with. Like back when he was facing Randy Orton, I believed. But now, like we've seen what he was doing for months, years. Like
I think
now
we
he's
were
all
always
of a sudden in this role.
accustomed. I think we were just all accustomed. Like he's been a mid card guy for so long, and then out of nowhere, hey, he's up there. Let's just give him it. I don't know. And then I get it. The New Day stick was huge. The numbers were drawing. The T-shirt sales were up the roof for them. So I get it. You don't want to drop that. And then what do you do if you move those guys to being a heel? Where are they going to go? Unless you move the whole faction, they could have done that. But it is what it is.
Everything Pro Wrestling says, I will say, when fans get their wish, they book who they wanted to win to lose. Yeah, exactly. That's 100%
That's
fact.
Pretty much.
That is a fact. So they're like, yay, let's this guy, done. We're done with you. You know what I mean? That's one thing that I like about WWE making their champions, because look what they've done with Roman. For years, we were like, oh, get out of here, dude. We're so tired of Roman. And now it's just like, he's the best thing on TV.
We don't want him to ever. Yeah.
So it's like, man, what are we going to do with Roman after this?
There's times where they make silly mistakes, but then there's times like, all right, we're going to stick to it. And let me tell you, they stick with it no matter how much you dislike it. Remember when Roman Reigns was faced? They had him for champion for numerous of times. Fans hated it. They didn't care. So
100%, man. Matthew Lopez said JBL had a great run as a heel champion. I think so too, man. At first, I hated it. I was like, what are we doing here? But he did. He was a really good heel. Everything Pro Wrestling says, JBL issues will always be he was in the APA 2 weeks before he lost his job in the storyline. Yeah, but he also came with a whole new look, and you know how WWE works, brother. It's a gimmick change. So I don't know. I was right there with you, Conrad. When he won the title, I was like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like this is the end of wrestling.
Let me just say, they made him look strong. He was winning in ways you're not supposed to. Like the time he beat Big Show, getting choke slammed to the ring and crawling under from the ring, and Big Show's like one step away. That was brilliant.
It was good, dude. Like he had some awesome matches, and that clothesline from hell was like unmatched by anybody.
And he was serious, but he was always a strong champion. The times when he was all drugged up fighting Godzilla, and he was like talking about Mama Juana and all that crap.
Yeah.
So
everything, and then he says, and then he's beating Eddie. Nah, fam. Isaiah Hill says, okay, you understand what I'm saying about the Ray thing and Eddie. And Eddie was thing. Yeah, no, I get it. I fully understand. Positively E says, wrestling is so stuck on the horsemen. They do it well, and then and they don't try hard, like when Undisputed Era. People like Pillman, Brock, Lee, Pillman could have been a new dangerous alliance. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an answer for that one, man. It's also a lot. It has a lot to do with the fans too. Like that's really what it comes down to. It's fans make or break you nowadays. It's not like, hey, we're gonna go out, captivate you, tell you a story. We're gonna make you believe what we want you to believe, because that's what the wrestling business always was. They were always working you. Now all of a sudden, the fans are trying to work the company, and they're getting mad when it doesn't work.
I'm paid. You better make them. Yeah. No. You're watching our product. You deal with what we give you.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just a whole different era, really. Everything pro wrestling. As a rap fan, Cena turned on. As a rap fan, Cena turned on me, dude. I loved that gimmick, that word life stuff, Thugonomics. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Isaiah Hill says, I respect John Cena too. I'm Team John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Lucha Libre memes. What's going on, man? I think this may have been. No, I think I've seen you in the chat before. Rocking the Bray Wyatt QR code return shirt. I like it. Yes, man. Bray Wyatt is my dude. He's my dude. And that is God, this is probably the best segue that I could possibly do. The fans don't know what they want, period. We don't see Bray Wyatt. Everything that happened with Bray Wyatt is over. Why? Because the fans just couldn't wait. They couldn't wait to see who freaking Uncle Howdy was. How ridiculous is that? You know what I mean? Like, what a way to ruin a gimmick. I don't know. I don't ever think that Uncle Howdy was meant to be revealed. I think this is just a character, and we were leading to other things, but the fans just so quick to turn on Twitter and give us their opinion on it. It sucks, man. It sucks. But that goes to show you, man, the fans aren't always right, because there were tons of Bray Wyatt fans out there, including myself, that were happy with what was going on. We couldn't wait to see what it was next week. The only thing I would criticize is I feel like you should have had more of him on the show for a longer period of time instead of just these 10-minute segments. I feel like you should have seen Bray Wyatt throughout the night. That would have captivated everybody.
And this is kind of the same. More. And this is the kind of same thing of fans rushing to the point of, hey, this guy's over. We got to push him to the moon. He has to be world champion. Oh, hey, Uncle Howdy's out there. You better review him, or we're just going to crap on it. It's our decision.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Matthew Lopez says, I was a big Cena fan. Can't tell you how many John Cena shirts, sweatbands, hats I owned. For sure, I was a huge Cena fan too, man.
Early beginnings, and then eventually I got into the crowd of, what was it, like 06, 07, when he just got tiring. I turned it against him, and then it changed later down the road.
So here's what I'm talking about, though, Conrad. He says, saw a whole Bloodline segment on Raw. Tell me if we get a Raw segment on SmackDown. No, you don't, but there's nothing as good on Raw as the Bloodline. SmackDown has that top, and the only thing the only reason the Bloodline, I think, is on SmackDown is that deal with Fox, right? Fox, they had to keep them on SmackDown.
They said, we're paying. You better give us him, just like they wanted Bray Wyatt, because Bray was the same way of being showcased on Raw, then SmackDown, then Raw. And then they said, let's do the draft. He's being SmackDown exclusive. The hell with USA.
I think if these networks weren't so anal about who they wanted on their show to begin with, then maybe the brand split would be a little better, like back in the early 2000s. Like, I enjoyed that brand split at the beginning, because if you watch SmackDown, you get SmackDown. You watch Raw, you get Raw. There is no cross branding.
Because I don't. So tell me, you might know. I don't know how obsessed Spike and UPN were back in the day of who they wanted. I know Triple H was very against of going to UPN.
Well, that's the thing, James. You didn't hear none of this crap before.
No.
Unless you were subscribed to like the Observer or something like that, and you really wanted the inside scoop. As a fan, when I was watching, even in the early 2000s, I didn't read nothing. Like, I would sometimes get on the internet and read, some chatter, but for the most part, I didn't care about that. I just watched the shows. Now it's all about that like inside scoop. Everybody wants the inside details.
Yeah, I think the first time I got maybe exposed to that was when Paul Heyman at One Night Stand said, the only reason you're champion, JBL, is because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays.
For real. Steve Kelly said, I love the 2000s live shows. Yes, that's a fact, man. Everything Pro Wrestling says that Kofi win meant a great deal to Africans and African Americans. on a personal note. Yeah, look, I get that. I 100% I get that. But at the end of the
I just
day,
think it
like,
was weird. The weird, like,
yeah,
just with one pay-per-view. I get the fan. I mean, they did it as a last-minute resort of we didn't have nobody to feud with Daniel Bryan. They had no
I mean,
clue at
at
the
the end of
time.
the day, tell me Kofi Kingston is going to be the face of WWE. That's what I want to
I
see.
mean,
Like,
I had no
could he
problem
be the
with it.
face
He
of
did
WWE?
deserve it. You know, he beat someone that I thought was believable he can beat. I just thought
Yeah.
after that, the run was just not for me. I just didn't care for it. I forgot who the other champion was at the time on the other side. But once Brock came in, that's it. It was all over. And then he's been, bolstered to the tag team with his boys. And then that's about it. Botching at
Yeah,
the Royal Rumble.
everything pro wrestling says that Brock stuff was disrespectful. The Brock stuff was realistic.
The
Like,
Brock
you're not
stuff
going to
was
go in
more.
there. You're not going to go in there and get. I don't know. Like, you're not
Was
gonna,
that
you're
the
not going to get a 5-star match out of Brock Lesnar with Kofi Kingston. It's not going to happen.
I mean, yes, I
So
get it. Was 20 seconds or whatever. I don't. Was
yeah,
that the debut? I don't know if that was the debut for Fox or 20th anniversary. It was one of those two. And you know how Fox is. Oh, we can't have this guy representing. They don't know who he is. We need somebody to bring nostalgia from back in the day. To hook fans.
it's because Fox. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what happens when you go to a network that literally knows nothing about wrestling except for when it was at its highest popularity peak, which was the Attitude Era. So, and the Ruthless Aggression Era, I guess you would say. Matthew Lopez says Brock ending Big E's run was messed up too. Yeah, Big E's run, man.
Big E's
The fact that they had this boy take out both of them, that sucks. But
the fact that it's just, I don't know why, but they put these guys. I guess like Kofi had the right position. Big E's. I'm sorry to say this, but they did this when there was a college football championship game going on. They knew they were going to lose it big time on ratings, so they just pulled the trigger on it, and it looked bad. I don't know what it is. They did the same thing with Lashley. They gave him the soft win instead of beating McIntyre. Hey, let's let him beat Miz. And I just I don't know. I feel for them. I do feel for them. It's just funny enough that Brock's got to be in there. Lashley got beat by Brock. Big E, same thing. Kofi.
I like Big E, man, and I thought that Big E was believable as a champion. I still do like Big E, man. I hope he gets well. I hope we see him in the ring again, man. Like, I really enjoyed Big E.
Yeah,
I
wish
was
the
when
best
he
for
won
him.
that Money in the Bank, dude. I popped. I was so happy for Big E because I love
Yeah.
that guy, man. I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, Kofi Kingston going against Brock Lesnar, you can't expect anything less than a squash, man. Like, it's Brock Lesnar. He's like 3 times the size of Kofi
To
Kingston.
be honest, yeah, I don't know what would have made Kofi more believable. I can't see a heel Kofi. Maybe Big E turning on him. That was probably the only thing I could see because Big E was believable as a heel back then. I thought, at least to me, he was.
Yeah, I like that too.
Worked for Lashley.
Lucha Libre meme says, I was just about to mention when WWE gave the fans what they wanted and made Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston both babyface champions. The ratings dropped. What do you got, James?
Honestly, it's this whole thing, and we've said it numerous times. Fans will be more invested for the chase instead of winning the title. Once it's winning the title, no one gives a rat's ass.
I'm going to go on and say it, man. A babyface is not fun. It's not.
There's certain times it can work, but it's more nowadays the heel going to get more of a benefit.
I don't think a babyface has worked like for the long run since The Rock, probably. I would say The Rock.
Yeah.
Was like the last babyface run that everybody was just really happy with. John Cena was
Austin,
the champion,
maybe.
and then that stuff, and then the fans turned on John Cena while he was babyface champion.
Austin, maybe.
Well, The Rock had a longer run than Austin.
No,
Austin
yeah.
So,
it just something I don't know what year it is, but it clicked where the fans are just like, yeah, we're gonna change this wrestling nostalgia. We're cheering for the heels. You guys can change it on television live and put boos or cheers into the audio. We don't care. And the fact that they still do this to this day is saddening.
yeah.
It's saddening. They did this for LA Knight at an England show and they had him booed. But that's when video surfaced, and no, we're cheering them.
Let's catch up these comments real quick, and then we'll talk about LA tonight. Steve Kelly says WWE now doesn't have a tag team champion that goes a long time. The Usos, man. They just they had champions that went a long time. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are still the champions. So
for now, supposedly.
Yeah.
With
Lucha
Kevin's
Libre
injury.
Memes says fans think they want face champions, but don't realize the stories are much more interesting when the face is on the chase. It's facts, man. 100% facts.
Cody might be the next one where the fans might be very behind it if we don't want him to lose. But then again, there's LA Knight there, and fans might just say, yeah, okay, Cody, you're cool, but we got our new toy, you know?
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah, you know, it's just funny.
It's got that Toy Story moment.
It's just how fans turn into it, you know?
Yeah. Isaiah Hill says WWE 2K24 My Rise. Sorry, I'm just excited for WWE 2K24 My Rise. He was putting that in the comments on the videos. Guys, if you haven't checked out the videos that I've been dropping on Add This for WWE 2K24, go and do so. Leave your comments. Leave what you would like. Positively E dropped like a couple massive comments on the videos that went into some really good detail. That's what I love about Positively E, man, and he knows what he wants in a video game, and he gets it right, man. They need to have you up in that dev room, I'll tell you that, Positively E. And then he says, let me see here, Steve Kelly says, if the fans don't like you, then you're toast. That's not necessarily true. Look at Roman Reigns. He's, fans don't like you, lean into it, man. Lean into it. Now we got a new heel. You don't like me? You don't like me anymore? Lean into that stuff. I don't believe in the whole, I got to stay babyface. It's my character. If John Cena would have turned heel a long time ago, he would have gotten the fans behind him again.
You know what was funny for Cena? Like, he knew. He even said it. Punk has said it numerous times. Like, you can boo me. You can cheer me. I still wrestle for you guys, and I don't care. Even the time that he got me popping was, how about a little bit of heel turn? He's over there rubbing it on the mat.
Yeah, dude.
He played along, but he's like, hey, I still love wrestling for you guys.
Yep. Facts. Positively E says, fans seem to respond to booking outside of WWE, be it Collision, Dynamite, New Japan, Impact. People know Vince's mentality, like he told Arn Anderson, F the fans. Yep. Well, I mean, honestly, man, sometimes you just got to say F the fans. I'm gonna go on and say it, dude. The fans you do not always have to give them what they want. I'm not a fan. Like, just because somebody is over does not mean you push them to the top in the world title picture. I'm sorry. It does not make sense. Everybody to this day is complaining, what's going on in the mid-card WWE? Why don't we have any mid-card storylines? Well, I'll tell you why. Because every time you get behind somebody new, these guys now have to push them to the top of the ladder. And now guess what? We only got one story to tell. It's just that one, the world title, because that's what you guys wanted. So we're giving it to you. And it's just ridiculous, man. How can you have a mid-card that is entertaining? How can you have anything on the show that is entertaining if every time somebody is over, this guy needs a push to the top? That is the stupidest non-business. I mean, it's the stupidest thing to do in business, period. That's one thing that I respect about WWE is that they don't always have to give you what you want. Not in that way. Like, we're going to give you more of LA Knight. We're going to do something with LA Knight, but we ain't pushing him to the top. We already got that storyline locked down, bud. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, finish the story. WrestleMania 40, that is the story. We're not going to push him out of the way just to put LA Knight there. Instead, we're going to use this LA Knight stuff as leverage to have more entertaining things on SmackDown.
It's an extra storyline that they're going to boost on. Like, you're going to watch for that. They suck you in. They can put them at the end of SmackDown, and you'll be watching. They did it with
100%.
They've done it with other characters. I mean, they don't, even when there's a big Twitter, blow up moment just for women, like, when people, when there's a superstar getting mistreated, fans will go online and tweet them stuff like Triple H says. You go online and tweet your opinions and be
mad.
Because
he knows, dude. Yeah, he knows. That's what it is. Listen. Imagine if let me put it this way: if somebody's writing a movie, say you got a director and a writer in the same room, and then they just ask 1,000 people, "What do you want to see in this movie?" How's that movie going to turn out, James?
Oh man,
it's going to be a freaking hot mess.
A big cluster.
It's going to be a hot mess. Let these writers, let the decision makers tell the story for us. We
I
are
will
not in this
say,
business. We are fans of this business.
I will say, back in the day when on the old WWE.com website, when they used to have those polls on the side, they used to listen to them. They used to do like little hinting and get some fans input, and it sometimes they went that direction, sometimes they didn't. I know fans were very upset. Like I think when Nami was on Raw, and she was losing numerous weeks, and they were this person deserves better. This person deserves better. They don't listen to them every single time. So like I said, a couple times it does work. I think there was when the women's division was god awful. There was a trend about women deserve better. Eventually, they pulled their head out of their butts and eventually brought NXT in, and well, it worked. So.
Well, some things the fans are right. I'm not saying the fans are always wrong. Women's wrestling now is killing it. Could you imagine, like, look, women's wrestling wasn't even a thought in anybody's mind back in the early 2000s and all that stuff. We had Lita and Trish, you know what I mean? Look, we had Victoria, we had Jazz, we had a few of them that were really good to watch, but man, the women are killing it now. The women on AEW specifically, I feel like, are amazing. Athena over on ROH is killing it. There's stuff going on right now, I feel like, that back in the day,
Even
just couldn't touch.
Let's in AEW's vision. I mean, we heard it from this last dynamite. Hey, there was only one Britt Baker's match. Where's the women? They don't care about the women in this company. There's always fans complaining. Oh.
Well, the fan, yeah. Well, there's always going to be complaints. That's what I mean. The fans aren't always right, and you should just enjoy the show for what it is, man. If you're watching the show and just sitting there with a head of steam, you know what I mean, getting ready to blow up, man, LA Knight lost this fatal 4-way match. He's buried. I can't believe this.
Yeah.
Like, he lost a fatal 4-way match, and then at the end of that match, if you watch SmackDown, the camera zooms in right on his face, getting the reaction of only LA Knight. Didn't care about anybody else. They were just getting LA Knight's reaction on that. Why? Because they're trying to tell you a story, but everybody's so impatient, just like they were with Bray Wyatt. Shout out to Steve Kelly. I like Bray Wyatt. Let me in. Just like they were with Bray Wyatt. And the fans were just crapping on it, man. That's what it is. Positively E, this is terrible. I hate this comment. He says, I think Bray's spooky horror movie stuff is corny theater kid stuff. It moves merch, though, but I ain't buying it. Bro, I'm a horror movie fan, and I feel like if you put Bray Wyatt in a horror movie, it wasn't corny at all. That dude can act. Like, Bray Wyatt, go and watch. Conrad, send this man his first promo over in FCW. That promo, gold. One of his first promos. That guy has always been able to cut a promo, regardless of what gimmick he's doing. Like, it doesn't matter if it's the Wyatt family Bray or the Fiend. I really loved the stuff with the Fiend. Yeah, it was kiddie because it had but it was. I don't know, man. It was eerie. There was some stuff about it that was like weird, and I loved it. I was all for it.
Same thing. Fans were already crapping on it the first time he brought back the new character and everything with the Uncle Rogers character. You remember all the comments he was getting. This is terrible. He goes from Bray Wyatt, the Eater of World, goes to Uncle Rod or Mr. Rogers, neighborhood guy.
I loved it, man.
And it was the biggest thing around every time.
Mm-hmm.
I
absolutely loved those segments.
You got to be patient with it. I still, I know getting off subject here. I know we always bring it up. There's no 5-star Bray Wyatt match. There's nothing like this. I was still always a fan of his cinematic stuff. I thought that's it. His wrestling just isn't for me. Ever since he came back, I thought cinematic was his way to do it, personally. Still believe that to this day.
You're just a fan of the cinematic stuff in general. Like,
it was good stuff.
I think the cinematic stuff is good, but I also didn't have a problem with that Mountain Dew match either. Like, I thought it looked good. I was cool. Yeah. Look, listen, maybe I'm a little biased though. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm not biased. I'm a fan of Bray Wyatt. I've always been a fan of Bray Wyatt. Do I think the guy can wrestle and he's one of the best wrestlers in the world? No. I think he's captivating. I think he has a good spot on the show. I feel like he should have more time on the show to tell his story, and I feel like if he would have gotten that, it would have gotten over a little bit better. Instead, we had 10-minute segments with Uncle Howdy coming out, and it just got fans like, who's Uncle Howdy? I think they were just ready to see Bo Dallas, which is, I'm not going to cuss, man, because it's going to annoy me. But it's so ridiculous that we're that excited to see Bo Dallas that we just have to rip the mask off now. Like, we know it's Bo. We know it's Bo. Like, just let him play the story.
Yeah, and I I've said it numerous of times to you guys. I'll say it to them. Keep him backstage. You didn't need to bring him out. I don't know whose idea that was. If it was Bray's or anybody, leave him backstage. You should have never brought him out. And that's what fans just pissed on and said, no, we don't accept it. We don't.
Well, I don't accept them fans. Tokyo Dominus says
it is what
Triple
it is.
H, I don't work on Tuesdays. That's
and it's funny how things work around. Like Bray Wyatt at the time, people weren't really feeling it, and then LA Knight were like, "Who the hell is this?" A lot of fans didn't really care for LA Knight. Now it's the other way. Bray's on the shelf. He's coming back. From what we heard, is like with SummerSlam or after, and now LA Knight's the biggest thing. Crazy enough how things fly.
Positively, he says the dirty sheets, the dirt sheets. Tokyo Domina says Seth Rollins was champion on the other side.
Oh, well, then that's probably why. I was more interested in Seth, and sorry to Kofi.
Yeah, no, facts.
That makes sense.
Seth Rollins is amazing, man. Gabe, man, what's going on, man? Welcome back to the chat. Good to see you. He says, been watching a lot of old Monday Night Raws on Twitch from 97 to 2002. And I got to say, this current product, other than the Bloodline, is weak. Look, I normally don't watch WWE, but last week I caught all the shows. I enjoyed them. That's all I could say. I'm not going to fully vouch for WWE other than some of the ways that they do business. Is their product lacking? Yes. But I think that it has a lot to do with the fans nowadays. I think the fans make the product lack more than it has to by not just enjoying it. Like I said, I feel like there's a big chunk of fans that literally go into Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown with a head of
social
steam
media
and ready to crap on anything they see. You know what I mean?
It's social media. It's
and vice versa. They'll do the same thing for Dynamite too.
Like, I don't recall, maybe back in the day in the, those forums and all, like everyone crapping on, WCW, I don't want to watch this. I'm going to WWF. It was a whole different era,
Yeah.
So I understand it. The landscape has changed big time with dirt sheets and all this. It wasn't as huge back in the day. You just watched it and that's it. You liked it or you didn't.
Conrad says it just hurt with Kofi. They didn't treat Balor or Danielson like that. Well, Balor, actually, they did. That boy hasn't been in a title picture since. He won the title.
He got hurt one
lost
time,
it the next day. He
had
to
now
give it up.
Where he's probably ain't going to win it.
And Danielson, man, I can't compare Danielson to Kofi Kingston. Danielson's the greatest wrestler in the world to me. So I just, Kofi is not on Danielson's level by any stretch of the imagination.
He can't even lace up his boots.
Yeah, no, it's not even even a comparison. But he also says Cena turned on us, culture vulture. KO is injured, I believe, you guys. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that sucks.
He is injured, so let's see what they do with this.
That sucks, man. Positively E says, this rating stuff is so dorky. Do you enjoy the show or not? These people that's going to tune out when there are champions they don't like for whatever reason and vice versa. The ratings may be dorky to some, man, but they're facts. Like I like business stuff. Like I said, I watch Dynamite. They're losing tons of ratings all the time. I'm not going to stop watching it because I enjoy watching Dynamite. But I am into the ratings and stuff because I feel like it's very relevant, especially when you have a boss or CEO like Tony Khan going on and tweeting every 10 minutes about the ratings. Like, you got to come correct, man.
And I get it. I'm not going to tell them like, oh, don't support your company. I get what you're doing. You want to support them as much as you can. And
yeah.
I totally understand that. So I mean, yeah, ratings. I mean, it's just funny that nowadays it's just about ratings and demos. You weren't doing this with TNA back in the day when they were on Fox Sports 1. You either liked it or you didn't.
Well, the people, I guess, were looking at the demos if you were a subscriber to Dave Meltzer or freaking Dave Meltzer, but I wasn't one, so I didn't look at no demos. All I seen was ratings. Matthew Lopez says, best wishes to KO and Liv, man. The injury bug is hitting people. Yeah, it's going to happen, man. I mean, it's, you're coming off Money in the Bank, too, so it sucks. Sucks when I hate to see wrestlers get injured like that. So
Yeah,
says
sadly.
KO has fractured ribs. KO is my boy too. He's one of my favorites, one of my absolute favorites to watch. So Steve Kelly says I am just looking for an awesome matches, no matter who is babyface or heel. AEW is where you want to be, man.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, AEW.
I don't care about the story. I care about the wrestling.
Yeah, AEW is where you want to be, man. I feel like they have great matches. Look, I enjoy Collision, man. I think Collision is the top show right now, and I didn't think I would say that, but I'm enjoying. Other than the stuff with MJF and Adam Cole, which is kind of 50-50 with people, like you either like it or you hate it. I love it personally. I think the stuff with Adam Cole and MJF is great.
Just to mention that you brought that up, I've seen so many fans about AEW is all about wrestling. They don't care about entertainment. The minute they do this, they can't do this. WWE's notorious. I'm like, it's just fans, man.
That's what I mean. That's the fans, yeah.
For the last straw with me was when someone passed away and everyone's just going, well, who had a better tribute? I'm like, that's not the point.
It's ridiculous. The life is gone.
Who cares? Are we here honoring the man, or are we caring about who did a better tribute? You don't see this in any other sport. Yeah. You don't see this in football. You don't see this in any other sports. You see it in professional wrestling.
Crazy, man.
A scripted sport, for God's sake, and fans complain.
Yeah, it's wild,
sad.
Man. Look, kudos to AEW, though, because they are listening to the other side, right? Like, there were fans saying, oh, there's not enough story. Well, they're giving a story right now on Dynamite, I feel like. They're giving a story right now on Collision as well. So, I'm enjoying AEW right now. Everything that I've seen, AEW is the one show that I will for sure tune in every single week. So let's just go on and say that. If anybody in here is thinking that I'm just crapping on AEW and putting WWE on this pedestal, the only reason I am saying these facts is because, look, they're facts. They're facts. That's why I'm saying them.
It's kind of...
Personally, my favorite shows, AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision. And that's a fact, too. Like, when I can catch Raw, when I can catch SmackDown, great. I don't even have, this is weird for me to say, but I don't have Fox to watch SmackDown, which is weird because it's a free channel, but I'm not going to go out of my way to look for this free channel. And when I do get it, it's not on a local time, so I get it at a weird time over here in the Pacific Northwest, so I'll get it super late. I'm not watching wrestling until 11 o'clock at night. It's just not happening, so I don't do it.
Your preferred choice, like back in the day. I don't know if you were watching TNA over WWE. For me, I was just watching WWE. You were watching, I think at times,
I was watching
Ring
both.
of Honor. Back in the day, you were watching Ring of Honor. Yeah. I was watching WWE. That's all I knew. Now it's
back when TNA was a thing, I was watching TNA. I was watching Ring of Honor when I discovered Ring of Honor. Anyway, I don't think I was watching Ring of Honor from the beginning or TNA from the beginning. I think I randomly was flipping channels and was like, what is this, pro wrestling? What is this? So I found TNA, I found Ring of Honor, and I watched them because it was more wrestling. Even when WWE bought out WCW, I was still longing for more wrestling. We have that nowadays.
It was your alternative, so for me, when I got tired of WWE, the way fans got irritated by it, once AEW came by, that was my bread and butter. I used to watch it every week. Don't get me wrong, I'll peek here and there, watch WWE here and there. They've done a little bit better from last I saw it, from years ago when AEW was formed. That's just my bread and butter. That was my alternative, so. And it's helping the product, both sides. You can tell there's a different vibing with WWE. There's more storylines than the Bloodline. I can say that.
There is. You just have to tune in. Like I said, I only watched Monday Night Raw and SmackDown last week just because I happened to have some free time, which is rare in my life to have this much free time to watch all the pro wrestling I did last week. And SmackDown was on FS1. I have that channel on Sling, so I was able to watch it live, and I did. I even recorded it. I was like, oh, I'm going to record this in case James wants to check it out. So I recorded it. That's the only reason why I watched it, though. For the most part, I'm going to tune in on clips because Friday night I'm busy, and Collision I don't watch live, but I will watch later on that night when
if I have the free time, sure.
I'll watch Collision. I will watch Collision. Rampage is still kind of hard to go back to because it's just like, that show is kind of like Sunday Night Heat to me.
Yeah.
It's like the Sunday Night Heat show, so I don't really watch Rampage as much. There would have to be something really big for me to watch Rampage. But I even watched like Battle of the Belts, and Collision the other night. Like I even watched Battle of the Belts. The only thing that made me super happy about Battle of the Belts is that my DVR cut off during the Christian match.
Oh,
Thank God. Thank God. I was
oh,
out. I was like,
that's
all
what
right,
you were
I don't need
missing.
to see this anyway. Like that's
That's what
perfect.
you're missing, man. Oh,
But I did have to watch Christian on Collision, and I'm not a fan of that. So it is what it is, man.
He's getting those rating numbers up. You got to throw him in the mix. He's
Everything
helping.
Pro Wrestling says, oh, I have let them tell the story too. I know you have, Conrad. I know you have. There's just certain things that are gonna tick fans off to the point to where they're just like, all right, I'm done. And Conrad's in that boat right now. He's just not, he's not into WWE anymore. He can't get into it now because they've already done wrong to him too many times. So I can understand that. For me,
and that was our way of, hey, they're doing too much wrong for us. Oh, I'm going to AEW. I don't like the way they're doing stuff. That was my alternative.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. AEW, I make sure to watch every single week. Is AEW good every single week? No. There's some AEW Dynamites that are straight hot garbage, but
yeah,
I'll still be back next week. Check it out. Let's see what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wednesday's my wrestling night, man. That's the one show I can
like
catch
AEW
live.
is your WCW. Like if WWE is not doing good, you would go to WCW, vice versa.
Well, no, AEW is my WWE right now. They're my number one. Like AEW
and
is
whether
my number
it's
one
bad,
company
you
to watch.
still watched it. Just like WCW did some things that didn't make any sense.
Facts.
I mean, yeah, and they were the same way too. WWE was no different. WCW did things that made no sense. When Vince Russo won the title, I mean, I don't think anybody was behind that. They didn't care.
No, WCW was trash, man. You can't even justify the stuff that was going on in the 2000s of WCW. Positively E says the ratings are like less than half of what they were when Triple H made his "my friend Mark" comment. Yeah, I know. I know, man. I know. Yes. But they're still popping. Look, they may be less half, but here's the thing. WWE is selling out every arena they go to. I'm about to go to a house show that's right here in my town, which comes here like once every like 4 years, 5 years, something. I don't know what it is. Maybe once every 3 years if I'm lucky. Okay, they're coming here. I'm taking the kids. They want to go. Cody's going to be there. They all want to see Cody. I want to see Cody. So we're going to go. That thing is almost sold out. And it's a freaking house show in Kennewick, Washington, where it is not a huge wrestling. Like, we are not a big wrestling area, I promise you. Like, if you go to Seattle, you go to Portland, you're going to get, like, a big wrestling audience. But Kennewick, Washington, you're not getting a big audience here, man. This is a whole different demographic, I promise you. But I just can't explain the sellouts, man. They're selling out every single one of their live TVs.
Yeah, so they're always like going at least 1,000 above every ticket says they've been there previously, which is crazy. And the price.
And I just have a hard time believing that it's all about Roman. Listen, I think the storyline with Ricochet and what's his name is pretty good too. Logan Paul, yeah.
I would say Dominic has took over the main.
Dominic's amazing to watch. That's what I mean. You can't tell me that there's no good mid cards going on.
LA Knight, people are going crazy for Dominic. He's been on what, 3 shows, 3 main events. It's consecutive. He's a champion.
And if you bring up to like some random person on the road, well, what are they doing with this guy? You're not going to be able to push everybody every single Monday. This is the problem with hiring too many wrestlers on your roster. That's the problem. Same thing with AEW. You see like each one of these wrestlers maybe once a month, twice a month on their TV shows, and they have 3 freaking TV shows. You see what I'm saying? So like 4 actually if you count ROH. So if you count ROH, it's hard, man, when you have all those people on the roster to book every single one. As a matter of fact, that's when you tell people to step it up. When I do give you TV time, give me a reason to book you again. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Show me that you can get over with this crowd.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what Dominic and Rhea have done.
Yeah. Big time. Big time. From way back in the day of when Judgment Day was on the bottom, people were crapping on it. Oh, they killed Edge and they just did this as a replacement when he got injured. Well, it's the biggest thing around. It's changed dramatically.
Yeah, 100%. Matthew Lopez says LA Knight time is going to come unless something catastrophic happens. He's going to get his due. 100%, man. I think he will. I think he will. He's just not going to get it before Cody. So don't rush it. Everything Pro Wrestling, he says, I think WWE making fun of fans is dangerous too. Well,
they didn't care.
Yeah, that's what I
When
mean.
when
Like
they don't
it's
care.
only dangerous to a certain demographic. That's the problem. Is like, yeah, you're gonna
You
you're gonna
think
make
Vince
fun of the
cared?
fans, but only certain people are gonna get triggered by it. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, when Triple H did his comments, I mean, you'd be assertive of what Vince McMahon has said backstage numerous of times about the fans. F the fans. I know what I'm doing. I've been in the business for how many years? I know what I'm doing, pal.
Yeah.
You know, he would call the fans piss hands. He knows what he's doing. He's been in the business for many years. Might not be the right way, but he's a businessman at the end of the day. He's been around. The company's still thriving. They're making money. That's all that matters to him.
Isaiah Hill says they should make Cody WWE undisputed champion. Well, I think that's the goal. We'll see if they mess that up. Other than that, like, so if they mess this up and we're not going to give it to Rome and we're going to keep Roman the champion after WrestleMania 40, then I don't know what this company's doing anymore.
I think after looking at it, you know, since I've been to WrestleMania, I think it was probably the better decision to hold off the Cody thing. They wanted to, and look, everyone wants it right away, you know, Cody winning the championship. Well, they had something else in mind. Hey, the Bloodline thing is over, which they're proving it. That was the bigger deal. That was the big. I just read it recently. Probably when we came on, it was about people backstage telling Cody after he lost Mania, "Don't go online, don't look online," you know, you know, and he's like, "I'm surprised the fans were actually behind me." He didn't believe it.
Well, it's because when he was in AEW, all the hardcores were booing him.
So
it is what it is, man. I'm happy for Cody. I hope he continues to tell the story that he's going to tell. Hopefully, after this whole Jey Uso thing goes down, and then they tell the story with Jimmy Uso when he comes back.
I'm telling you right now, whole when Cody wins that title, it's going to be the same thing. And I know AEW fans are going to be on it. It's going to be the same way when Hangman won the title and the Young Bucks gave him the nod. Watch. It's just going to end up happening. He's about to do his finisher. He gives them the nod and he does it. It's going to be the same way, and fans are just going to really find a way to just get on everyone about it. AEW fans, see, we did it the same way and we did it better than your little Young Bucks and Hangman.
And see, that's petty. Like, who can just enjoy what you're seeing on TV? Like, they're all friends at the end of the day, so who cares?
Yeah, they don't care.
Tokyo Domena says WWE.
Christian and Cody, they're friends. They don't care about little comments like that.
I think he meant WWE Cyber Sunday and WWE Taboo Tuesday.
Yeah, and those were terrible.
Gabe says, I think LA Knight will be fine. The cream always eventually rises to the top. The cream always rises. Dude, don't I got something for you real quick. Do I have that still? Yes, I do.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised I still had that sound effect in my bank right here. He says, when his time finally does come, it will be an epic moment. Yeah, for real, man. I really do believe that LA Knight has it. He's older too, so I know that they're going to give it to him eventually.
And he doesn't need the world title. Look, it worked for Zack Ryder. Just be patient.
He doesn't need a title. Why not have just an over LA Knight?
It's just always been in this. Like, I don't mind winning a mid title. If it's mid title, I don't mind it. I mean, is it really going to be a bad thing if he does win one? A mid card title?
I don't know, man. It is what it is. Steve Kelly says, I love Roxanne Perez of NXT. She has talent.
Yeah,
for sure,
she's
man.
Talented.
Let me see. Lucha Libre memes. Fans are 100% right about WWE 2K and AEW Fight Forever not delivering on the content. Well, this is completely off subject, but I'm not giving up on my video games. But right now, I feel disappointed with the stay tuned after so much hype. So yeah, we're actually gonna talk about AEW Fight Forever. Coming
I've already mailed in the bag for the Fight Forever. I've already got the funeral set up for them.
Oh my goodness. Steve Kelly says put Wyatt in any horror movie and he will make it in on his own. Yeah, for sure.
You know, I'm shocked they haven't done that for Wyatt. I mean, I don't even know if they do that WWE films anymore. If they even have they do that. They did it for Kane for numerous times with Evil.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they were working on it. Maybe who would have been a part of the Marine 100? I don't know.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt.
Featuring Bray Wyatt as the heel. Lucha Libre meme says if they re-release the Leader of Worlds shirt, I'm buying 3 of them.
Yeah, Eater of Pins.
The Eater of Pins. That's James. You're trolling tonight. You're trolling tonight. Steve Kelly says. Steve Kelly, see, I love the Mountain Dew match.
No, you love Mountain Dew.
You don't know what you're saying, Steve. You like the drink, not the match.
Look, man, I got Mountain Dew in the cup right here. It's Mountain Dew. Because how much do they get paid for Mountain Dew? Come on, Bray. You were never doing this. You weren't doing like a marshmallow match or whatever, sponsored by
the Captain Crunch.
Come on.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch or whatever it was, man. Lucha Libre meme says evil twin Bo Dallas. Everything Pro Wrestling says I meant Balor and Danielson had competitive matches. No, yeah, they did, but have you look, Kofi Kingston, I know that this is what he's talking about the Kofi Kingston moment still. Yeah. Kofi Kingston should have won the title when he was facing Randy Orton. That's facts. He should have won it then because he was really over then. And
they had the history back in the day.
Yeah, it was just a better moment for him. Now he's not. He can't even do his Royal Rumble spots without botching. He's been in the company for a long time, which I'm thankful for him. I watched him when he was in ECW doing his Jamaican. I've met Kofi Kingston. He's a hell of a nice guy. I like Kofi Kingston. I'm not crapping on him too much. I'm just saying, like, dude, not everybody needs to be champion, regardless of the situation. If you're over, you're over. Great, but you don't need to be champion because you're over. I don't know. I feel like you're messing the show up by only putting your over guys in the main event picture.
It was odd that, like, I get it for the history and nostalgia for, like you said, Conrad, for African Americans. Get me wrong, it was big. I seen the what was it, Shad Gaspar and them crying MVP. I get it. That was a big nostalgia moment. I think at the end that it kind of buried Bryan Daniel with the whole. I was huge into the Planet Champion. I think when we found that Randy Orton was like, I'm not doing it to Kofi. I think that was the time that he should have beat him at that time. They had the story. We hate the term, but long story telling, that was there. They had that chemistry.
At this time, Bryan Danielson was telling one of the best storylines that he's ever told.
I love the Planet Champion. Yeah, the belt was garbage, but it was
funny though, dude. And it was good because to an extent he was telling the truth. That is how he lives his life. Like, that is who he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, man.
It is what it is. They pulled the trigger. I'm just like, well, thank God they didn't do that nowadays. I mean, they could have said, oh, hey, Sammy lost to Roman. Yeah, Cody, we're going to put you in the backside. Let's put Sammy in there. Don't get me wrong. I would be cheering for Sammy, but it wouldn't be as big as Cody.
Let's get the rest of these comments real quick, and then we will talk some AEW Fight Forever news. Positively E says Balor's run is complete cheeks, but bless him for cashing them checks. For sure. Steve Kelly says, I love AEW, baby. Lucha Libre meme says MJF. And Adam Cole storyline is the coolest thing on AEW right now, in my opinion. It's awesome and shows MJF's range. 100%, dude. It shows you how good MJF really is, man. MJF is
I think MJF's going to be like
he really may be the salt of the earth.
Yeah, he's going to be one of those characters that you just like, yeah, he can't ever lose. We can't happen. Fans will riot.
Yeah.
It's the same with Roman Reigns. We will riot till he loses.
Matthew Lopez says, I watched TNA at the beginning. That led me to watching ROH because I couldn't just watch only WWE. Back in that era, I loved what WWE was doing. So I still liked TNA because it was something different. And I liked ROH because it was something different. But the same thing went for all three companies. And this is my point, is all three companies were telling you stories. That's the difference in today's wrestling. We got two companies that are completely different. Yeah, it was.
Like WWE was, they had stories. TNA, I think when I started watching them, I loved they had theme pay-per-views. Before WWE started doing that crap, TNA had like Lockdown, which I thought was the coolest thing around with every match in a cage.
All right, Positively E, I'm going to get back to this comment. Positively E says, James, you said Planet's champion, but I think you meant Planet Jarrett. Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo. We still got to have that match on Fight Forever, by the way. Still got to buy that Jarrett.
If the server works.
Yeah, we're going to get on right after this, actually. We're going to record that match. I'm going to record you eating the pin. Eater of pins.
Yeah.
And then next week,
I'll
James
play you
will
when
show
the
up on here.
DLC comes out. The DLC Forever, whenever that
James
comes.
James will pop on here next week in a Jeff Jarrett shirt, and the Pro Wrestling Shoot audience will rejoice.
Hey, and Tony Khan, what happened to Jeff Jarrett saying, that's it. I'm after I lose this match, I'm done. Mark showed up the
Positively,
next week.
he says, I watched TNA Impact in the Fox Box days with Dusty sitting on a haystack in the back of a pickup truck with Tracy Brooks, Goldilocks, the Elite Guard, 3 Live Crew, Team Canada, two
Team
tunnels,
Canada,
only green lasers. Yep. Yeah, I watched
Team
it back then,
Canada
too.
was the best. I will say that.
For sure, man. Tokyo Menace says, Bray Wyatt attacked Cody. Steve saying Cody.
That's
Steve
what I've
Kelly
heard.
says my number 1 is AEW, number 2 is WWE, and he also says AEW Dynamite and Collision is better than Rampage. Facts. Let's talk about AEW Fight Forever. Now that we've got on that subject, AEW Fight Forever, man.
You got some funeral music?
I got some videos coming out for AEW Fight Forever. I'm going to be working on them here soon as an addition to my WWE 2K24 videos, and I'm still going to be making some WWE 2K23 videos. So I got some stuff coming up for the video games. AEW Fight Forever promised us a constantly evolving game. It has been, over a month now that this game has been released. And now, about a month, actually. It's been about a month. Mm-hmm. So about a month since the game has been released, we were charged $25 or $75 for a season pass for DLC. We were shown a teaser trailer of Stadium Stampede. And now we are getting comments like, we need to fix the game first before we can have a roadmap to any downloadable content. What? Dude, this game. First of all, I'm just going to say it like this. I love the controls to the game. I love the controls of the game. I love the feel of the game because it does give me nostalgia, and I like nostalgia. I'm a sucker for it. I like it. It's fun. There is some fun stuff you can do. The weapons, booty. I was really excited about the weapons, but I cannot get behind one motion of a side swing for every single weapon. Wow. I do like the weapon finishers. That is a plus. I'm into the weapon finishers. Thumbtacks, phenomenal. Need more animations for those thumbtacks, though, because right now we only got the 1 or 2 animations, and it's just not enough. You just get over it really, really quick. Match types. Serious freaking problem in this game. It is too hard, for one, in the tag team matches to hit a tag team finisher. It is absurd how hard it is to get this finisher off. It's ridiculous. And if you're playing with AI, don't even bother because that AI is so dumb that you can't even have a good match against this AI. And look, it's their first year. I get it. They're our first video game. Whatever. I get it. I'm going to give them a pass on that. Okay? But we were promised an evolving game. How are you going to promise us an evolving game and not have a roadmap to any DLC that is coming out in the future? What's going on with this, James?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think the day, what was it, today or tomorrow, the DLC was supposed to come out, and then there was leaks from, I forgot his name was Zordic, claiming that, oh yeah, when Nintendo put dates out, that it's going to be out this day. And then THQ Nordic tweets out, yeah, if it doesn't come from, it's not true. It's on hold. What did I pay $71.99 for if you're not going to deliver on the timestamp? I feel like they're going to just release everything at once, and it's just going to be a bad storm. They're going to release, and I'm assuming Stadium Stampede, they want to release at the same time with all the DLC. I don't even know. I don't know. There must be a miscommunication. It's the same when the game was coming out, Best Buy's had a release date, then they came out, oh, that's not the date. Oh, we're getting sued by this, by this with the whole Fight Forever moniker.
This may be just as bad as the 2K devs not releasing any info to their community on what they're doing. So you wanted to be different and you wanted to be that alternative. Once again, same thing went with your TV shows. And you failed on the promise of that too when it came to prices and amongst other things, man, that I'm not going to get into because we're going to talk about the video game. But so far, I feel like AEW is like the most secretive company in the world. They have now released this game promising constant updates. When this game released, I remember before this game released, they changed their tune and they said, "Oh, well, we're going to see how well this game does, and if it does good, we're going to give you another game." Like, I don't want another game. I want this game to be evolving. You know what I mean? So now you're already telling us that you're going to give us another game? I don't want another game. Make this game the way that you said you were going to make this game. You then go on and put your pre-order bonuses out there or whatever. You can pay the extra money to get the Elite Edition. I get the Elite Edition, promising me 2 DLC packs, which, quite frankly, suck to begin with. You only get 2 wrestlers and a couple mini games per DLC pack.
Yeah.
Stadium Stampede, it is not known whether or not you have to pay extra for it or if it is a part of the season pass.
Okay. I believe on the video they said it was free, and Kenny did say that.
Okay, so that's great. I believe that you owe us match types for free. I am not gonna get $300 into this game for match types that should have been already in.
You shouldn't make me pay for something that if you're not going to include. I just saw it from I see it from the mods. Okay,
yeah,
from what's his name, Lynch Reborn on there. Always, he just tweeted out, "Oh yeah, there's files in the back for trios going to be put in too." He's finding every little thing on there, little monikers. He was the one that discovered Stadium Stampede. He was the one I think talked about the DLC. I don't know what's going on with this game, to be honest. They probably just rushed it as soon as the whole lawsuit thing went away and the whole, rating stuff, and now they're in a complete mess. I just feel like they're going to release everything at once, and it's going to be a big cluster F.
So Conrad just sent me a link from Lynch Reborn, and he says there is a file for trios matches.
Yeah, that was the one.
Okay.
I don't know if they're just trying to work and put everything on once, but if that's the case, it's going to be a fire mess. I'm kind of concerned about Stadium Stampede because I think they have maybe 100-something players. Last I saw one online, and I don't know if you're going to have enough to fill up a Stadium Stampede alone. I'm kind of concerned about this game. For some reason, this game seems more of a downer. Maybe just it's very limited. I think I played the TNA game more than this personally. And I had more fun.
Yeah, no, I did. Look, there's never been a wrestling game, and I'm including like Legends of WrestleMania. I'm including like Legends of Wrestling. I'm including games like Thunder, WCW Thunder. There has not been a game that I've only played for like a week and a half and just decided I'll play this. I got nothing. What's going on, Hudson? Welcome back to the show, man. I'm glad that you're in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Everything Pro Wrestling says you have to have a roadmap. You do, man. It's ridiculous. And Positively E says the stuff Lynch found was the basic code for making match types. Even No Mercy has codes like that. So what you're saying is it doesn't even confirm that we're taking that we're getting the trios matches. It says, and having 6 people in doesn't mean there isn't slowdown and stuff like that. So this is what goes into making a video game, though. Like, your AEW, you have dog collar matches, you have like trios ladder matches, you have constant 8-man tags, you have all sorts of people in the ring. Then you release a game that only allows you to have 4 people in the ring at once and not give us trios matches, not give us tag team ladder matches, not give us a dog collar match. You gave us an exploding barbed wire death match that only happened once in AEW. How many dog collar matches have we seen in AEW?
1, I think, right? 1 or 2?
At least 2.
Was there 2? Oh, yeah, 2.
Yeah, we had Brody Lee versus
Cody
Rhodes, and we had CM Punk versus MJF. So, look, man,
we've had a handful.
How many tag team ladder matches have we had?
Tag team ladder
Tons.
Matches. You've had tag team. You've had cage matches.
Yeah, we don't even have a cage in this game, dude. Like, there's so much that's missing from AEW Fight Forever. The fact that you don't have a roadmap to releasing this stuff in your game. You were betting on this game to release, and you were getting people excited to buy this game. And then when you released it, people realized real quick how bare bones this game was. And now you're saying, oh, well, if it does good, and if we support the game, then we'll get another one. No, dude, we wanted this game to be right the first time.
The fact that there was talks about this being a mobile game, I was concerned about, that they had other projects. And all right, this one's released. All right, let's work to our next project. I'm wondering, when is the DLC going to come out? Is it going to come
positively? Hold on a second. He says you're talking about Russian stuff in a negative light. If all this is possible, I'd rather they roll it out correctly. Look, dude, we're in 2023. Okay, we are in 2023. There are video games that take time to make that have way more than this, that had way less of a budget. I don't understand this. The one thing I do understand is that it's hard to make a wrestling game. Okay, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. But the fact that we're in 2023 and we're saying, oh, we just hope it works. Like, bro, the game shouldn't have came out if you didn't have plans of making this work.
How is it that you're going to have a stadium stampede match with 30 people on? You can't even produce 6 people in a ring.
You can't put a cage match. You can't put tag team ladder matches, but we can have a 30-man stadium stampede.
Not to mention, they were very against it. No mods in this game. And then once they got a letter in the mail to the big tops, all right, I guess mods can be okay, because it was so bare bones.
And I'm only putting this in a negative light because I spent $75 freaking dollars. Does my money not matter? That's what I'm saying. Like, I've heard countless people complain about WWE 2K games who give you a plethora of options. There is no wrestling game ever like this before and probably after that WWE 2K provides for the wrestling community. Yet we complain about little minor things that are not in the game. But look, dude, if I'm going to be harsh on one, I'm going to be harsh on the other. Like, it has to be that way. I spent $75 on this game. At least tell the community what you are doing with this game. What are the plans going forward? They haven't even come out and said that we would be getting match types. Instead, they've hinted and put little smiley emojis and stuff like that.
Like, things are coming.
Yeah, things like, what's coming? You know what I mean?
When is it coming? That's my question.
I don't care about when. Just communicate. Communicate with your community who are supporting you. You asked us to support you. We are supporting you. I need you to do that in return for us. That's all I'm saying. Look, if you tell me that cage matches, tag matches, ladder matches, all this stuff is coming in a year's time, I would say, okay. That's all you had to do.
Yeah. Give me some sort of update.
But the fact that Conrad is talking to this guy on one of the devs on Twitter, and he just says, we got to make sure this game works first before we even think about having a release date for the DLC. Bro, why'd you have me buy your elite packs then?
Right,
why'd you make me buy a season pass if you had no roadmap to let me know when this stuff was coming?
The marketing is terrible, and I could see it from Evo Uno at times when he's usually on Wednesdays streaming. Like, sometimes he doesn't even have an answer. He's paused. At least the time when I've gotten there.
Positively, he says the gameplay you're getting from Fight Forever is miles ahead of what 2K is giving us. But yeah, the communication and marketing is ass, and I'd say get in contact with Zades. I don't need to, because Conrad already did that. That's what I'm saying. He has nothing. But the gameplay from Fight Forever is not miles ahead of what 2K is giving
There's
us.
a lot.
There's a lot of things.
It's a different look. I get it's a whole different persona of a game. It's from a different modeling standpoint compared to 2K's, you know. But I think it could have been performed a lot better, personally.
Listen, man. I think that there are some shining moments in AEW Fight Forever that are great. But
yeah, there's pros and then there's cons.
But there's more cons than pros. By far.
Easily.
I noticed these on the first day. There has never been a wrestling game that I've ever played, ever, in the history of wrestling games, that I've picked up the game on the first day and noticed that much wrong with it.
Where's
never.
this?
And
Where's
I'm going to stand by that. What was that, James?
Oh, I said, yeah, I was the same way. Where's this match? Where's that? The minute we got word about the game, even before release, I think it was like Phenom Cos. He's like, this game is terrible. I'm giving you guys a warning. It's a heads up. He was the first one that came out, and I think he had like the mods or he had something around the realms, and he just seen like, yeah, you guys are going to be very disappointed at this and this and this and this. It'll be fun, but yeah, there's going to be complaints that, you know.
I don't know, man. I just don't agree with this comment. Like, he says that I must not play 2K. He says, I'm talking about gameplay, not features. I'm talking about the gameplay, too. The gameplay runs smoothly in 2K. There's a few things that I would like 2K to add. Like, when I grapple somebody, I like that AEW Fight Forever, you can kind of move them wherever you want before you hit that. And 2K used to have that in the games, if you guys don't remember that. I remember that drag feature, and it was great. But they don't have that. So, like AEW Fight Forever, as far as gameplay, dude, their moves are so. There's not even that many moves to do.
It's very one-dimensional, and I get it. You can tell me, oh, well, it's very arcadish. There's not supposed to be a variety of moves. I don't know about that.
Okay, so then if that's case and it's supposed to be arcadey, how is it miles ahead of WWE 2K?
If it's arcadey, I mean, you want to make this advance, add more than this, because I would say that if 2K, let's just say if they wanted to make a throwback, Here Comes the Pain, they would have the same gameplay and throw additional stuff and not make it the same replica.
Okay, but explain this. 2K gameplay is dull as all hell. So what is not dull about AEW Fight Forever? Explain that, I guess. Because that's what I'm waiting for. What is? Are you still playing AEW Fight Forever? That's another question I have to ask. Like, are you still having fun with singles matches? Because for me, it's just not there, man. I don't know.
And for myself, for being a big online person, I don't have problems with 2K online. It's AEW that is just bad. The online, I can't even get to a players match. That's how bad it is for me. And I got over it and I went right back to 2K.
Let me see here. Creations.
That was just for my preference.
And Fight Forever. So, yeah, the creations. There is no creations.
The creations.
Yeah,
that was.
But I didn't expect that out of the game. That's.
I thought it was going to be very. I didn't think it was going to be crazy.
I don't know. Sick says, I like. Oh, welcome to the chat, by the way, Sick. I see you guys in 8 or Everything Pro Wrestling's chat. He says, I like the game, but will admit I've taken a break. Due to online bugs. I also feel the submission and pin system need improvement. It doesn't have to be like WWE's system, but what they have ain't it. So listen, when it comes, I don't want this game to be like 2K. So let me just clarify that. I got into AEW Fight Forever because I was a fan of No Mercy and Here Comes the Pain, and that's what I get out of the game. That's what I get. But there's still like not that much to do in the game, really. I mean, it's unless you're playing online, but once again, Sick just said online bugs.
I don't remember what the TNA game had. I think like story mode and then just online and gameplay. That's it.
Thomas, welcome to the chat, man. He says they should have in storytelling. They should have contracted sign. I don't even.
I wonder if this is just a thing because I know 2K. I think it was 2K that had issues where certain superstars wouldn't appear on DLC because of royalties. I don't know if that's the problem with 2K or with AEW, and that's a problem. And superstars aren't getting the royalties on the DLC. I don't know. It could just be another. I don't know what it is.
Fight Forever sacrifices clipping. Everything Pro Wrestling says. Positively, he says VPW2 didn't have every match under the sun, and people still play it. Yeah, look, dude, that's what I'm saying though. Like the people that bought AEW originally wanted to have that AEW experience, right? Like I still wanted to have. I know it was an arcade game, but I'd still like to have an AEW experience. For the first glance at AEW Fight Forever, I'm already not getting that AEW experience because the entrance is only 5 seconds long. Thank you for letting me control the pyro and all that cool stuff for 5 seconds before I cut right into the ring. That's not even that big of a deal. Whatever. That's one thing. But when it comes to the AEW experience, AEW has done tons of different matches. So why would I want to just play a one-on-one match and only one type? Bro, I can't even get in the menu to change the rules to a no DQ. when it comes to a tag match. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even customize this in any way, shape, or form. Like, it's crazy.
You literally have to play Road to Elite like, 10, 15 times to get all your mini games. Why are they not even in there in the first place? Why do I have to unlock them? I'm paying $70.
It's wild, man. It's wild.
The other stuff, sure, the attires and all that. Okay, that's understandable.
That's another thing too. I can't even like, they didn't even give me the option to go in and just change the color of an attire there's nothing, dude. There is nothing. We gave you gold attires. All you have to do is win the AEW title 10 times. Bro, I don't want that nasty ass gold attire.
It's very bland. If there's one person to give gold, maybe Dustin Rhodes and make him gold dust. That's about it.
I don't know. It's just weird,
and then
dude.
Some people got gold attires without even doing anything, and they came up with there, and then they compared out, and you're supposed to do this and that. Well, how did I get it?
It's sick. Also, that Stadium Stampede is going to be a mess online. Trying to play a singles online match is a struggle.
Oh,
look, I haven't been online for a while, but when me and James were playing, I felt like we had good connection together.
Yeah,
I don't
problems.
Know. Yeah, I didn't have those, so maybe something has happened along the way. I haven't been on for a couple weeks when it came to online, but when me and James were first playing the game, I felt like I had a good experience online.
Yeah, and we haven't played it since. At least for myself, I haven't.
Well, let me see here. Positively E, the creation lacks, but creative people are still making great cause. Well, they're making great mods. So it's the creative people if you get the game on PC.
Yeah, I've seen attempts at doing the characters. Yeah, I get it. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I don't have access to it. So.
And look, that doesn't matter anyway, because I did not get if I want like a large roster, I was just telling Conrad this too. If you gave me a good experience with the AEW Fight Forever game when it came to just your gameplay, when it came to just your matches, I don't even care if we kept the roster the same as what we got it right now. I don't need a large roster to keep me entertained. But let me at least change some things up. Like, let me change the color of somebody's attire, or let me just change their attire in general. I don't know why that's not an option, but it is what it is. I mean, look, you can defend AEW Fight Forever until you're blue in the face. I am not the minority. I'm the majority here, I would say, in this AEW Fight Forever complaint.
Here's one. The reversal system is not on par because there's times where you reverse, doesn't happen. 2 is when I mentioned to Jesse about, you can change your settings for online with your controllers. He was appalled by that. I don't remember 2K ever doing this, or even any of the WWE games where you can change your controllers offline and then they persist back to online as well.
I actually think that's a good feature. I changed my thought on that. It's a good feature.
I was not, which I was fine with it. I don't know. I get it's a first game, but man, it's all over the place. I get it. You want to perfect it, but as a paying customer, I'm paying somebody $199. Give me something. Because you will have people knocking at your door. Hey, I want my refund. I want this and that. And it's happened with other games in the past.
Look, I'm not petty like that. I'm not going to ask for my refund. You already got my money. You got my money. Just do right by it. Like, I'm not going to be asking for a refund.
Runs. There's been, I can't remember. Somebody might know that one game that came out, I want to say last year, 2 years ago. Day one, the game wouldn't even play. It would freeze. And they had to discontinue it from stores. And people had a refund.
And positively E, when it comes to the gameplay and when it comes to the feel of the game, I've already said that I like the feel of the game. Do I think it's miles ahead of WWE 2K? No, I don't. I think that the 2K gameplay is way better. I think that the 2K, well, not gameplay is way better, but I would say just the layout and the feel of it. I'm a simulation guy though. I'm not all into arcade games all the time. This game I am really into. I think it's fun. I think it is fun. I think that there are many limitations, but do I think it's miles ahead of the gameplay of 2K? No, I don't. I feel like 2K23 really upped their game when it came to 2K22. There's a lot of different things because when I was playing 2K22, I was even telling Conrad, man, I was doing this custom universe thing that I was doing over in on Twitch. I was doing the custom universe, and then I told Conrad, man, I feel like all the spots are the same, and you can only run so much. I feel like they made that a little better in 2K23 because I didn't feel like it was always the same match when I was having. And the AI is amazing in 2K23 as opposed to AEW Fight Forever. So you get something different every match that you play with them.
Not to mention, you got the best of both worlds of playing offline and online. You got things to do. You got universe mode, which is saving it because I don't know how the 2K game would be if there was no universe mode or my GM mode.
Yeah, and I also don't think that AEW Fight Forever needs every match under the sun. But, dude, we don't have a freaking cage match. Like, come on, man. It's a wrestling classic match.
Yeah, keep going. It's making me, I want to see what, because I don't even recall. I'm not trying to bag on the game. I want to see what the Impact game was offering at the time.
Impact game was only offering Ultimate X. We didn't get a cage match with that game either.
Which I really loved. I don't know. Yeah,
It was fun. It was fun. Let me see here. Steve Kelly says, I don't have either game yet. Which one should I get first? I would wait on AEW Fight Forever. I would wait until they have some DLC packs or something.
Probably till the DLC comes out or see what happens.
Let me see here. I'll support the game and buy every DLC pack they release. I just hope they listen to fans and act accordingly, said Sick. Me too, man. Look, I feel like I should buy every pack? No. I feel like they need to come correct with a lot of free stuff. When it comes to wrestlers, cool, I'll buy your roster. You know what I mean? Like if you're adding roster in the game, I'll buy it. Like it is what it is. I already did buy some of it, so it's all good. Positively, he says, I get that. And then he says, oh yeah, 100% agree. Give me full entrances as well. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately.
So the TNA game had Ultimate X, single standard, tag team, fatal 4-way matches, submissions, and fall count anywhere. Trying to think, there was no 6-side to steal. Yeah, as well.
No. Yeah, I know. They were lacking in that game a lot.
Their story mode was very lacking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Roster had 25 people on there.
Just 25?
They had 25. They had Abyss, AJ Styles, Alex Shelley, Booker T, Brother Devon, Brother Ray, Christian Cage, Christopher Daniels, Sabin, Eric Young, Hernandez, Homicide, James Storm, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Nash, Angle, Petey Williams, Rhino, Robert Roode, Joe Steiner, Senshi. I forgot who the hell that was. I think that was what's his name? Shark Boy, Sanjay Dutt, Sting, Tomko, and then all the other bonus characters in the Afro Thunder, Benny the Cow.
Well, at least they did right by putting Jeff Jarrett in that game. Positively E says, yes, that's true. That's one of my main complaints. No Mercy let you choose all the rules. Yeah, I don't know why they don't have that option at all. Let me see here. Everything Pro Wrestling says options are key. He also says, online is full of loser who spam and cheat. Is my understanding.
I'm surprised they don't even have an option online. Hey, can I turn it off so I don't play calls? Because I've heard that's a major complaint. A lot of people are hating the idea that calls are online.
Well, yeah, it's because it's ridiculous. You can just add the spamming moves on there, so it's just not a fun thing.
And it's what I don't know what it is, but I mentioned this to Chris about on the AEW game. If you do 2 moves back to back, if you try a third one, it automatic reverses. The 2K game was doing that, and I don't understand why the fair play option is in. And it's not just wrestling games. There's other games that do that. I don't know why they do that. I guess to make everyone happy. It's not a participation trophy. If you're good, you're good. If you're not, you got to just learn to play. I hate that.
Says, I mean, stuff like Sloth Style and taking off Penta's glove. Different style of springboards like the blocks and Road to Elite. People didn't give it enough time. So like I said, there are some golden moments in this game. The fact that certain people have their own abilities, like MJF begging people off, you know what I mean, and then you can hit them or whatever.
The little details.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten to take Penta's glove off, so that's pretty cool. I didn't even know about that.
The little details, the sloth style.
The sloth style. Yeah, those little details. They definitely did right. I am with you 100%, E.
I would say the abilities feels like 2008, though. They get spammed a lot. Like rolling out of the ring, that's spammed a lot.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of criticism with that.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. Like, when I go to play online when it comes to AEW Fight Forever, I'm probably just going to be playing with friends anyway. So chances are you're going to get an earful from me if you're spamming that garbage.
Like, I know how rank is, but the fact that you have is it an option. If you quit, you don't even get a loss. How does that fly by?
I don't know. But the Road to Elite is trash. I didn't like that mode at all.
The
I
fact
just
that I
think
had
that
to
we're
get
way
it,
past reading a career mode. I don't know. It's
like I get it. Don't get me wrong, it's cool to have different blocks, but the fact that I had to unlock Big Show by quitting every match just to beat him in a match was a weird idea to
the
throw
fact
in.
that I had to play 100 matches to get Owen Hart was lame. Really lame. I got him, but I just played
Was it
against the
worth
second
it?
controller.
When are going to get it? I mean, what's next? Are we going to get DLC? Are we going to get attires? I know they teased it with Chris Jericho having a red attire. That's the
Yeah,
last
I
thing I
remember
saw.
Conrad was asking about that stuff too. 2-on-1 moves, yeah. Positively, he says everyone feels different.
You have handicap matches in your Road to Elite, and you don't even have it
So
on
I
regular
will give
play.
Positively E this too. I love that AEW did that. That everybody feels different in the game as opposed to when you're playing. Like, bro, I played as who was it? I was playing as, was it Big Show? Yeah, I was playing as Big Show. Dude, you ain't defeating Big Show. Like, if I'm Big Show, you ain't defeating me. There's all that is to it. Like, it's crazy. Like, they actually make you feel like a giant, which is cool. I like that everybody feels different. That is one thing that they
It
did
gives that
amazing.
07 nostalgia because I know 2K at a time had it where you
Yeah.
can be a cruiserweight and you can pick up a giant. Well,
Mhm.
where in the hell does that make sense? Well,
Yeah.
2006 and 7, you couldn't do that. There was weight classification. You have to injure him to the point where you can pick him up if you can.
Yeah, facts. Positively, he says you can eliminate people with the black mask. Yeah. Yeah, you
That
can.
was the first thing I countered, and I thought, okay, that's different. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Chris Williams in the chat. What's going on? He said the game is trash, period. He hasn't even played it, so his
I mean,
his
hey, he
opinion
saved
doesn't
his.
matter. Says positively, he says 2K feel isn't even sim. It's got arcade and fighting game stuff. I think that it's sim if you're playing like certain match types. Like I definitely think it's a lot more simulation than it comes to any other wrestling game that's ever
I
been
mean,
on
I
the
wouldn't be
market for
shocked if
sure.
they do it in the future if they have options for arcade, sim, and just random style. I mean, Madden has tried to personify that where you have options in the settings for simulation, arcade, and I don't recall what the other one was.
Let me see here. He also says combos his ass. And look, I don't like the whole combo. Some combos, depending on who the superstar is in 2K23, is great. But for the most part, I'm with you on that. He also says with you on the cage. Everything Pro Wrestling says, but 2K23 is telling you future modes. The AI and ref options. I can expect a special guest referee. Yep. Yeah,
I
I'm
can
with
see
you.
that.
Yeah, special guest referee has been asked about for many years, so I'm pretty sure it's coming back.
It was very popular back in the early days. I can
And
tell.
speaking of Byron, Byron right here, Byron Cutler says referee mode in WWE 2K24, please. I'm almost positive.
Hell, let
you're
me make
getting
my
that.
own ref.
Yeah, I'm almost positive you're getting that, man. Positively E says, I know we are not talking about the TNA game.
Hey, that X Division match, I was undefeated. Okay, that was pretty cool.
6 says, I also think saying stop having WWE brain when it comes to having ideas that compare with what is in the WWE 2K games. WWE has innovated aspects of wrestling games for over 20 years. Yeah, well, it's hard to say stop having WWE. Like, I don't like that term at all because, look, WWE brain works. Like it's worked for years. I don't know why we wouldn't take aspects out of that, just like I wouldn't know why we wouldn't take aspects out of their show, which they currently are. If you haven't seen Dynamite the last few weeks, MJF and Adam Cole, baby, is totally a WWE move, and it's good. Like some stuff works, man. If it's not broke, don't fix it. That's all I'm saying. And once again, I didn't go into AEW Fight Forever expecting AEW Fight Forever to have this awesome creation suite. And I went into AEW Fight Forever expecting this game to be different, but I also expected it to have a little bit more, at least when it came to match types. I think that's the main thing that I'm disappointed with. Match types. There's just not enough to do. That's where I'm at.
Just a variation of like more than one-on-ones in a specialty match. Like you can't even do it with ladder matches with 3-4 people. You can't do that with just other matches in general. I'm surprised it's just very subpar. Yeah, here's everything. Every specialty match is one-on-one. Then you got a simple tag match, and it just doesn't feel the same. The fact that the game just removes you if you are the outside partner and you get in and it just automatically removes you. That's odd.
Yeah, I understand you there, man. See here. Byron again, my referee in WWE 2K24. Positively, TNA launched with Double J, 10 out of 10. Wrestling says, nah, sick. People put GM and Universe mode as a mode they want, bruh. You're not going to get that in AEW Fight Forever. I don't want that mode in AEW Fight Forever. I just want more freaking match types. That's what I want.
If you want
more
to thank anybody, thank Xavier Woods because he was very big on the GM mode.
I literally only wanted to get this game to play online with my friends. That's all I wanted. I didn't expect my GM mode or any of that crap. Like, I knew that was a 2K thing. I knew that they've had that locked down. I didn't expect no community creations, but I did expect to at least be able to create something worth creating on the game, and they didn't have that either. So that's what I mean. There's just not enough to do. They didn't even put their freaking logos on the game to where I can put, like, blood and guts or anything on my my ring canvas. You know, they did give me an AEW logo, so I made like my own custom Double or Nothing with the AEW logo in the middle of it. But other than that, like, you know, they gave me like the Ring of Honor look, but no Ring of Honor on the ring.
Even
ring
the mods
apron,
are making justice out of it.
Yeah, it's just, you know, if you're going in expecting all the modes that WWE has, you're not going to get that. And I didn't expect that. I just want more match types. I feel like I'm not asking for much. Give me the option to change to no DQ in a tag match. Like, give me something, dude. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not asking for much when it comes to this game, and they still ain't even giving me that. So I don't know.
And why is it just a hassle to put tires on people? Jeez, when I bought Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks the tires, oh, you have to go in there and insert them yourself. What in the F kind of? I don't know. That was just odd. It took me about 15 minutes just to put the damn thing on because it would convert back to the original tire.
Yeah, see, look, and Sick, there you go. He says, there are some things that are used in WWE 2K that could be implemented in AEW Fight Forever that would improve it. But on your previous comment, you said, don't have WWE brain. That's my point. If it works and if it's not broke, why fix it? You know what I mean? There are good things in WWE 2K.
Either way,
I'm not saying to throw my GM mode or universe mode like that. I just don't have any desire for that. I have that in the 2K game. I don't need it in AEW.
I will say that both companies are going to thrive from each other. Hey, AEW Fight Forever, use this mode. We'll throw it in there. Same with vice versa. They're going to use some things from 2K. They're going to thrive on one another.
Let me see here. Everything Pro Wrestling said, it's weird using those terms, etc. You know, it's like calling wrestlers superstars. That's, yeah. I guess I can get behind you on that. Like Brian Cutler again. Let me see here. Positively, James is like, get good.
Okay, I will tell you this. Chris Williams is here. He can say that for Call of Duty. I know this is a whole different subject. When I played a game with him, he had Chopper Gunner, and the people that he was trying to kill, they had spawn protection. That was for fair play. I don't know why games do this or companies. Kids got to learn you cannot win all the time. You got to eventually, if you're getting your butt kicked, deal with it. That's how it is.
Yeah. Let me see here. He changed it now. He wants referees and stacking chairs, ladders, and tables in WWE 2K24.
Keep them coming. We'll be on the next
video. Weapon stacking in WWE 2K24. I definitely put those in my other videos, too, for WWE 2K24. Go and check them out. Positively, he says, big show on his Joey crack. Steve Kelly says, have announcers run in the ring and attack wrestlers in WWE 2K24. You know, something as simple as attacking the referee in AEW Fight Forever would be nice, too. Like, that's one thing that's annoyed me that went away in WWE 2K as well, that you can't, like, target the ref. Like, I don't like that.
I'm surprised there's only 2 refs in the game, too.
See here. Positively 6, sorry. WWE brain is real, or Vince brain. We is not everything. People been making pro wrestling before Vince added his Disney. Doing kicks with rockets. Yeah, look, and medical facilities. but they didn't make it as good. Just kidding.
The medical facility. Oh, jeez, man.
Let me see here. Positively E, agree the attires thing is weird.
Yeah.
Chris says, do you remember SmackDown 2? How could you play career mode? How you could play career mode and it went on forever with its own storylines? They should have put that in. I spent many nights playing that. That's a fact, man. That's a fact. Yeah. Six says, nah, that's on me. I missed a word. Fat thumbs. I meant to say people saying stop having WWE brain is wild to me. Dude, look, it's so, yeah, if people saying stop having WWE brain, that's wild to me as well, because WWE brain as a term is wild to me. So what you're saying is, don't think like a successful company. Let's try something outside the bubble that we have no idea is going to work. Like that, I don't know. That's the reason why, if there is a WWE brain, the reason why it is around is because it's liked universally. It's the thing that has worked for years and years and years. So why change it? You know what I mean? And it's not just WWE brain too. So when you're talking about creative when it comes to WWE, like you said, Positively E said, there were people that were doing wrestling way before WWE. And guess what they were doing? The same thing WWE's doing. They were telling stories. They were doing the same formula. A formula that has worked for many, many years. If it's not broke, why fix it? That is what everybody got into pro wrestling for. Is the same type of thing. So when it comes to the games like 2K and stuff, that is a successful game. It's been around for years and years. Why wouldn't you take some of these aspects out that work? You don't have to be WWE 2K, but you could take some of the things from that game, some of the elements, and maybe enhance them in your own way that makes the player feel more in charge of its game.
There's nothing wrong from taking from the big machine, like, you know.
Yeah, it's just
I
crazy.
can tell you, for the next WWE 2K24 game, there's going to be some mentions of AEW, and they're just little details that people will point out. Oh, hey, they had this in AEW Fight Forever. You know, it's going to, same with if they ever do a Fight Forever game, another one in the future, or some rendition of it in there, there's going to be some 2K reference in there. You work together as much as they, don't want to, it's going to happen. It's ideas on the board. Hey, we didn't think about this.
Let me see here. Positively E says, Madden is successful, but they don't make their fan base happy every year. You're right, but I think you're in the minority when it comes to the 2K, man. This is the most successful game that they've had. Facts. Like, they've sold more copies of this game than any game in franchise history. Plus, dude, I'm in massive groups for 2K on Facebook and everything. I've never seen anybody, I'm talking thousands and thousands of people in these groups that post daily. And they are loving this game. Absolutely loving it. You even mentioned AEW Fight Forever and you're getting kicked out of the group. Like, that's how hardcore they are on these games. Like, once again, it's the same thing when it comes to the shows, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, there are loyal fans to loyal product. And that's what it is when it comes to WWE, man. Like, they like their WWE games. They like their WWE product, so the minority is the AEW fans that just want to see something take over something that WWE's been doing for years, which I get it. Some fans are frustrated, and it's cool to be frustrated because not everybody has to think the same. But the 2K game is very successful, and I feel like the 2K23 game is definitely their best game of all. That's me personally.
My huge selling point for the 2K game is the creations and the community creations alone. Just seeing people making renditions of current superstars and wrestlers, it's wild, and it just, I'm always intrigued to see people's creations. That's what was a big seller for me.
Six says, Positively E, I meant as a game. There are a lot of things that WWE does right when it comes to their game. They have over 20 years of literally being the only game in town. They've had to improve. That's a fact, man. That's a fact. And Positively E answered, says, Vince, predatory business practices led to the successful of WWE, not the quality of its worth. He put his competition out of business. He didn't outdo their quality. That's not true. He didn't outdo WCW's quality? Like, I'm confused here. How would he not outdo WCW's quality? WCW had the worst show for a few years. WWE, even when they were doing the NWO stuff, WWE show was still better. The ratings didn't show that. But when I was watching it, the show was better on WWE. Conrad, I think, could back me up on that. I don't think that that's true at all.
Yeah, more people might have been watching that product, but
yeah,
I've heard a lot of renditions of, WWE is better.
Yeah, you don't get millions and millions and millions and millions of fans at one point just because you're, a shanky businessman. You know what I mean? You're obviously putting on product that people.
I mean,
like
there was
watch.
A fan base for ECW too.
I don't know if I'm watching something that I don't like, guess what I do? Change the channel. That's what I do. You know what I mean? A lot of those people are not changing the channel. They're still watching it to this day.
It took people one channel away to switch over when Foley won the title.
Yeah. Everything Pro Wrestling says when I say WWE brain saying GM mode superstars, local medical facilities, this makes people of WWE. I've never once in my life said local medical facilities. So
just say the hospital.
Yeah, even though they say that on their television, you'll never once hear me say that.
Yeah.
Now superstars, I have caught myself saying that a lot.
Look at that nice belt.
Give it to you. Yeah.
Instead of title.
Yeah, I say belt, I say strap, I say all the old wrestling lingo. So it is what it is, Fight Forever says, positively he says Fight Forever got a lot more to steal from than 2K's lame ass gameplay. If you don't, I mean, it's all preference, bro. Like I get it, you don't like 2K, but I don't know, man. I don't think that their gameplay is lame. I think it's actually a pretty fun game. Personally, Everything Pro Wrestling says people are comparing a 20-plus year game to AEW's first console game. I'm not comparing it. There is no comparison. 2K is the much more.
It's already been
game.
understandable. We have already understood that one's the monster, one's an arcade, and one's more of a simulation.
Yeah, that's not what I'm.
I didn't go into this and compare it. I knew there. And look, yeah, is there understandable? There's flaws. I'm not surprised. I don't blame them. And we can remember the first WWE games. There was flaws. Even the first WCW games, they were off terrible.
I think just going into this game, you should have expected a little bit
backstage
more
assault. I mean,
dude, this company literally has trios matches, or like trios titles. We don't have trios matches in the game. That's fucking whack to me. I'm sorry. Like, I just gotta say it. It's ridiculous, dude. There is no. I cannot sit here and have you make excuses for this game. Like, you're basically saying, yes, steal my money. I'm okay with this game having nothing, as long as it's not WWE.
Here's my $70 to pay for that light bulb in that arena.
Do I want to support something that's not WWE? Yes. Take my $75. Don't give me nothing back. It's okay. Like that. That's not me, man. Like,
give me half of a T-shirt, not the full shirt.
Yeah. Put some holes in it while you're in there, dude. It's just crazy.
Turn it inside out.
It's just crazy. He says sick. They've been the only people willing to spend money to make games. That doesn't mean that they're the best. Tony Khan went on record saying that he has way more money than WWE and way more money than Vince McMahon, so I don't understand why he wouldn't be willing to spend money on a video game and give us a good product. Same reason why I don't understand why the pay-per-views don't have fucking themes. That's just the way it is, dude. Like, I don't know. It's Chris says, have you played NBA 2K? I'm surprised WWE games haven't gone that route that NBA has with online, like the park, etc. That would be cool. I don't know. The 2K games, the one thing that has always lacked for 2K for me personally is their online. Like, I think their online their servers are trash.
2K,
and I will
if you're
say
listening, please bring back your NFL 2K games. Those were legit, and I know people would agree with that.
And this comment, I don't know if this is aimed at me either positively, but I'm definitely not like worshiping this game. I'm just stating facts. Like, this game is hands down has a lot more to do than AEW Fight Forever. Look, it is what it is, man. Like, I understand if you're happy with AEW Fight Forever right now, cool. I'll talk to you in a year, man. If they haven't added any more in this game, then I don't know what you can be defending.
Let me know when the DLC comes out when I'm playing 24.
That's what I'm saying. Like by the time the DLC comes out, their marketing has been so trash that by the time they even release anything worth releasing, 2K24 is going to come out, and a lot of those gamers are going to hop over to 2K24.
You know, there's major problems when you have
little, too late.
people Uno on Twitch advertising for the game. For God's sakes, there's something
Who's not
wrong.
even in the game.
Yeah,
Didn't even make the game.
you have Dark Odor in there. You have 3 members in there, and he's not even included, and he's the one mentioning the game.
Yeah,
It's wild.
it is wild. And
But
I
they
get
have
I get
Kings.
the analogy too. McDonald's sells 1 billion burgers doesn't mean they're the best. I mean, if you look at the owner of McDonald's, he's probably laughing all the way to the bank at that comment. That's all I'm saying. Like, my burgers don't have to be the best because they're selling.
Yeah, they can be heated over the light bulb, and you'll still buy them.
Yeah, it's a wild analogy.
Hard as
man.
a brick.
Don't do anything that's successful, I guess. Like, let's just try to be different. And
McDonald's
hope
is your WWE, AEW is your Burger King.
Six said, never said they were the best. Positively, E just saying that there are a lot of things that they're doing right. Fact, like they are. He said, sick. They're the only game in town. They're why the WWE brain exists. I don't know. It comes off like, look, like I said, I went into AEW Fight Forever hoping to buy a good game. Right now, I'm feeling like I'm bored. That's all I'm saying. Like, is the foundation there? Yes, it's there. I think that there's a lot of things that are great about this game that can make it way more fun once more match types come. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't feel like I'm asking for much. Like, am I asking for too much? Let me know, man. Is it asking too much to get more match types? I'm not telling them to put GM mode in. I'm not telling them to put universe mode in. I'm not even telling them to put a good creation suite in. I would like a few logos, please. That's all I want.
We were even shocked when we played and mini games was online. We're like, wait a minute, this wasn't mentioned.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So Byron in here, man. So this is the ultimate shield for WWE right here. I'm thinking WWE 2K24 is going to have 60 new features. That's this guy's palm reading or something. I don't know. Hopefully they do get 60 new features.
Probably shaking the Magic 8 Ball. Will this be in the game? Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. He says they made WWE All-Stars to manufacture competition. Yeah, that game was trash. I'm not gonna slide that one. These guys are going at each other over here, sick and positively having some words, man. He says, positively, he says, Fight Forever is a great base, and I look forward to more content as well.
Well, same
okay,
here.
But you didn't answer my stuff though too. That's what I'm saying. Like, am I asking too much for this game to want more match types, or is it just because it's an AEW game that I have to support it? Because I don't subscribe to that.
Look, I'll support him, but if I'm gonna have some criticism just with WWE, I'm gonna do the same thing. I criticize both companies. I'm not gonna give this one a slap on the wrist or this.
That's what I mean, man.
You know, both companies. And I know that's stereotypical for wrestling fans of AEW fans. It's certain.
It's tribalism. It's tribalism. That's what it is.
It is.
It's pure tribalism to want one thing.
Back in the day, people would bag on NBA 2K and love NBA Live. Same vice versa.
Yeah.
It's not just wrestling too. There's baseball games with MLB Show and the MLB 2K. There's always criticism.
Okay, so he says that I am asking for a lot. So I'm asking for a lot just for tag team special matches? I'm asking a lot for an option to turn DQ off in my match? I'm asking a lot for a freaking cage match that's been in every single wrestling company since the beginning of time? Like, what are we doing here, dude? Are you not bored with just one match? Lights out? That's the only thing that's cool on the game right now. Lights out. Like, that's the only, match that you could pull thumbtacks out, and then eventually
the TNA game was the Ultimate X was the big thing, and that's it. That's all I generally play it offline and online. That's it.
Yeah. See, look, and right here, Six says, I don't feel asking for more basic things in a wrestling game is asking too much. Exactly. It is basic. I'm not asking for these huge modes. I didn't ask for a stadium stampede. Is it cool? Yeah, it's cool.
It's
Is it
different.
going to crash my online? Yeah, it's going to crash my online. You know what I mean? If you can't run 4 people on a lobby, how can you run 30? You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. Like,
Just a little.
I'm not comparing features. I never once compared features in here. He's saying I'm comparing features to 2K. I'm not. I don't want a GM mode. I don't want a universe mode. All I'm saying is those features add to more to do in the game. I didn't buy this game for that. I bought this game to play online with my friends. But when me and my friends hop online and we can't even do a basic tag team ladder match, it's now you're not even talking No Mercy, because No Mercy I was able to do that.
I guess
This is Nintendo 64.
We're very limited on matches. Like when we play one-on-ones, we were shocked that you can put computers in a match. You know, and that was a way for us to get a 4-way, because it's a mother effort to get a fatal 4-way on.
Yeah, it's too much.
So I get it. It's the first game, but we're just asking for the littlest thing. You can add a third person. You can add a 4th-person match. You can put freaking handicap matches on Road to Elite, but you can't add this match. You can't add that in there.
Yes, God. He says 2K is sitting on copy and pasting 20 years of Ukes' work. I get it. And Ukes still took some of the stuff that's in the WWE 2K games and used the same animations for their hand-drawn moves. Tell me I'm fucking lying, because I'll show you the video. It's the same animations, regardless of hand-drawn or motion capture or not. It's the same thing. They literally have the
F5 in there. I think it's called the Brockenizer or something.
And Ukes is part of the problem here too. The fact that they even paired up with Ukes to make this video game is probably the problem. And I'm not going to get all into details on that, but you can ask Conrad about it in your personal time if you want. But I'm telling you right now, Ukes is the problem. There's a major issue right there. It says, while Fight Forever is being built from scratch, and Fight Forever, you know better. They're not being built from scratch, though. They had a lot of those bases from older games, and you can see the move types. A lot of the stuff is built from scratch, and that's great. But, I mean, look, it's still... Just because a game is being built from scratch, look, The Last of Us 1, all right? Granted, a lot more money to make the game, a lot more time. But if they went in thinking, it's our first game, we can get away with a lot of stuff. What kind of mindset or business set is that? Like, that's all I'm saying. I don't know. I'm confused at the logic right there. You don't go just because, like, I hate that. Like, oh, it's their first game. It's okay. It's okay if they screw us over. It's their first game. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
You can't treat it with the shows. I mean, I wasn't gonna give it a slap on the wrist when Jericho and they did the Mike Tyson stuff. You think I was there? Oh well, they're just doing it for nostalgia. No, it wasn't needed. We crapped on it. Same with WWE. If they do something, you know.
I get it. Wrestling games are a different ballpark, but how are we going to treat the business aspect any different? You're still giving this to consumers, right?
If I'm a paying customer,
the game.
I'm going to have my complaints. I'm going to do the same thing for 2K. You're going to listen to us like Brian was with us. We're listening. We hear you guys. We're not ignoring you. You got to do the same thing. If we can keep the same thing for crying about LA Knight not getting his push, you should do that for an AEW game. I'm just saying.
And we were right here, E. We were right here to crap on 2K20 as well. We understand. 2K20 wasn't Visual Concepts' first game either. I had 2K20 in my system for maybe a week, and that thing was uninstalled, and 2K19 was back.
I sold it back to the store.
Did you get rid of it?
I bought, and I was foolish enough to buy like the gold edition or whatever it was called. That went right back. Got my refund.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like E, like I respect you, man. I respect you, and I'm glad that you're having fun with AEW Fight Forever. But I feel like you're arguing a lost cause when it comes to this game. You're supporting something that's not supporting you, and that's fine. If you want to support the game, you can support the game. All I'm saying, and I'm gonna support the game. Hopefully, they roll out some good DLC. But how are you not gonna how are you gonna promise your fan base that you're getting DLC? And then you don't even have a roadmap to that DLC.
And
explain to me that. Is that good business practice? Is the marketing good there? I don't feel like.
Do I think they're listening? I think they are. When Eddie Kingston and that whole footage came out of how he looked, that changed real quick. Just like the Sonic movie first came out with that terrible depiction of him, they changed that real quick. So I know they're listening. Just when are you going to deliver?
Yeah, it's a lost cause, man. It's a lost cause, but it's okay. It's okay. Hopefully, we get some DLC out of this, man. That's all I'm saying. Like, give us more match
I want to
types,
play the
give
game
us
again. Don't get me wrong. I want to play it again. It was fun for the time being when I played it.
If they don't look, all I'm gonna say is like, look, if you're liking the game, that's great, man. I would never discourage you from playing something you like, because if you like it, that's fantastic, man. That means you got your money's worth. For me, I've barely played this thing. I'll get on a few times, and then I'm back on 2K23. Like that's me personally. There's just not enough to keep me invested into this game. There's only so many match types. I don't got the other modes to go play. Maybe when Stadium Stampede comes out, if it works, great. I'm going to hop on Stadium Stampede. I'm excited for Stadium Stampede. I want to see if it does work, but I just don't see how they can give us that and not give us.
I could say there's a rendition of a company that I know was very on top of it, where the game got boring, at least to me. And I know that they had millions and millions of dollars, but the Rockstar was very huge with GTA. At a point, it got boring for me, and eventually they kept adding stuff nonstop to the point where, well, we'll give you something to play. I know you're bored. They're listening too.
And Six right here too. It is all love, man. We are just talking. Like, you're not gonna like the same stuff I like all the time, and that's okay. But for me, I feel like I'm not asking too much for a few match types, and I think we'll end it on that note. Like, match types are needed in a wrestling game.
This kind of reminds
me.
We
need more stuff.
I know they're two different games. It's like comparing GTA to Saints Row. They're two different games.
Yeah,
But
both came correct. So I don't know. It's all good, man. Guys, follow us everywhere at the Pro Wrestling Shoot on social media. Our TikTok is growing, thankfully. I'm really excited about that. Subscribe over here at on YouTube at the Pro Wrestling Shoot if you haven't, and listen to our podcast, man. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and leave a 5-star rate and a
We're gonna have
review.
to update that Twitter logo to an X. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm going to still be calling it Twitter over here, man. I'm Jesse Carter. He's James Bernard Jr. We'll see you next week right here on the Pro Wrestling Shoot.